Hello everyone and welcome to the show. Today I'm super excited because I'm going to be talking about a topic which will help pretty much all of us from getting scammed back home. So there are often times where we want to get things done back home. We want to get things fixed. In today's video, I'll be sharing what needs to be done in order for us not to lose a lot of money. So I can't wait to go through this. And then later on, I also want to give you an update on our diaspora initiative and just let you know exactly where we are with that. And then finally, I want to show you the dashboard that we've got so far for our investment platform. This is going to be super, super exciting. So let's dive into the story, or at least into the show today by discussing those issues. A lot of us have been scammed, but what if I tell you that in most cases, we have ourselves to blame, me included. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about things that have happened to me and also things that I've observed while being on the ground in Zimbabwe. Now, this also comes with a solution at the end of the video so that you can save yourself from getting scammed even in the future. Now, if you haven't been scammed, well, this video is not for you. All right, so let's kick off this by giving you an example of how easily we get scammed and why we are to blame for these type of situations. So let's say you've put together some money and you want to build a house back home. What do? We ask people back home, hey, is there land available on the ground? And people will tell you, yeah, there is land, right? The next stage is, okay, send us some money. We'll go and pay some sort of a deposit or some money to secure it. And then you send some money. And before you know it, okay, let's start building. They start building, or you start sending even more money to secure that land. But you see, that process is absolutely incorrect and it's wrong, because you need some sort of a process which requires lawyers to verify that that land is proper, it has title deeds, and it is really up for sale. And the person that's selling it is the person who they say they are. Now, I almost fell for this trap. There was a time where I was desperate to get land back home. And of course, all these things that I'm talking about come from an emotional place. We are emotional. That's why we make decisions really fast and we justify them with logic. So at one time, I was really desperate to get some land or even a house back home. So along came this option where I could purchase land in Crow Hill. So the lady who was selling the land was on Facebook, and she said, or she was in the UK, but she was on Facebook, and she said, look, I bought this land, it's too big. I was planning on developing on it, but I've decided not to develop on the land. That's why I'm selling it. So we said, how much? She said, 20,000. I said, okay, so what do? Do we send the money over to you? And I remember she lives in St. Albans. She said, well, send the money over to me. At that point, I was so close to sending money over to her account. But do you know how dangerous that is? At that time, my wife said to me, do you know this woman? What if she turns around tomorrow and says, well, you didn't give me the money for the house. It wasn't for the house. You owed me some money. How do you even go to the authorities and back yourself up with that kind of situation or transaction? It's very, very difficult. And at that point, I realized that I was just about to part with £20,000 of hard-earned money to buy this so-called land in Crow Hill, which was actually massive, because in my head, I was imagining building this massive house and big bedrooms, and there's going to be a garden. I'm going to be planting my vegetables there, some grass, some trees. That's what was in my mind at that time. So that's one example. Now let's go back to the example where you want to buy land in Zimbabwe. So you tell your relatives you want some land, you've sent some money, blah, 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 blah. And you actually think you're building. So the mistake is there's no due diligence. The relatives that you're using do not know much about buying land and what needs to be done. And this is how things can easily easily go south. Sometimes they don't really want to scam you, but they are emotionally involved as well because they want you to have something. But the process they are doing is not the right process. Therefore, they are going to also lose money in that whole process. And then on our side now, we say we're scammed by family. But we're putting this family in a position where they cannot even handle these transactions because they don't know how. I grew up in a way or in a family that has never bought property. I've never been through the whole process of buying property. So what makes anyone think that I'm going to do it properly? I have to learn it from somewhere. And a lot of us don't learn this. I'll give you another quick example. I have my uncle, and I really feel sorry for his son. He's working so hard. He's been overseas for about, in the diaspora for about, I think 18 years now. 18 years. He bought 2 houses, and I've been to the houses. They are in an area where, the house looks fantastic, but they're in an area which does not have title. Imagine. Now, when I look at that scenario, my uncle doesn't know that that's the case. He was convinced that what he's doing is correct. And guess what? These 2 houses, there's a list circulating on the internet right now. These 2 houses are on the list of houses that need to be demolished. Now, think about this. This is 18 years in the diaspora, and these 2 houses are on the list of houses that are going to be destroyed by the council. You know how devastating that is? And I'm telling you about a scenario that I know. This is my uncle. And I know he means good. But the way he did it was not correct. So, if you haven't purchased land or you haven't purchased a house, you need to make sure you go through the right process. Get a reputable law firm and also get the proper procedure done. The due diligence, it has to be done. I also want to give you an example of how I almost lost money. I actually made a video about it. There was a time I was looking for a farm, and the farm was in Chegutu. So in Chegutu now, this farm was, I think, about 60 hectares. But the amount they were asking for was ridiculous. It was so little in the whole grand scheme of things that it really shocked me. And I wanted to really go for it. So this land was going for about, I think, 40,000. It was about 60 hectares. And I was like, wow, that is massive. 60 hectares for 40,000? That can't be right. But then again, I said, look, maybe the person is desperate to sell it. And we almost fell for it. But here's the thing. Oftentimes, when we want to buy big purchases like this, we don't like spending money on the whole process, which is proper. And the example I'm going to give you is the law firm said to me, for the due diligence, they need $1,000. At that time, I was like, 1,000? Why? Because that was a lot of money. 1,000 just for due diligence. That can't be right. And do you know what the lawyer said to me? He said, would you rather lose $1,000 than to lose the 60,000? The 40,000 or something along those lines. And at that point, it made sense. And guess what? When the due diligence was done, a report was done on all the findings, and it turns out there was a document that was missing from all of that. And that document would not be able to release the title deeds. The title deed of the whole farm was there, and there's also other documents that are supposed to be present for the transfer to be done to someone else that purchased it. But that document was missing, and I had no idea that document existed in the whole grand scheme of things. So what I'm saying to you is, we often do things without actually knowing what needs to be done. Okay, so living here in the United Kingdom for about 25 years, we have spent majority of our lifetime, especially me personally, my adult life is in the UK. And that's a fact. My early ages in life was just me going to school in Zimbabwe. But my adult life is here in the UK. And when you spend so much time in the UK, what happens is you sort of like blend in with the society, and it's a society of trust. So you take that mentality that you've built over the 25 years and we take it back home. We are very trusting. A lot of us in the diaspora, we are very, very trusting. I know it comes across as stupid. I see some of my videos where people say, Ruwa Organic, he's gullible, he's stupid. How can you get scammed so many times and blah, blah, blah. We don't see these blind spots. Why? Because I've spent half my life living a life where things are straightforward. That's why I don't see these blinkers easily. So as time goes on, you'll realize that at the end of the day, we are assigning these jobs or these activities to people that are not experienced and people that don't know what needs to be done. So if you're going to be buying land, don't buy land which has not been developed, which you haven't done due diligence. There is nothing called, okay, you've got a big piece of land, you're going to start building and then they're going to fix the roads later. There's nothing like that. Come on. I may be wrong, but please tell me in the comments box. Can you just go on an open piece of land, start building, and then get convinced that, okay, the roads are going to be fixed later? It doesn't work like that. From what I've understood, the land has to be developed first. It has to have the roads, the sewer system, the drainage system, and then you can start building. Because without that, can you imagine a flood happens? The flood will mess up all the houses because there isn't a drainage system in place. So this is how we fall for a lot of these things. Now, the other thing as well is we create these stories, these narratives that Zimbabwe is corrupt, Zimbabwe is corrupt, Zimbabwe is corrupt. And then when we go in and we want to do simple processes, we assume that we have to pay someone money for that process to work. And I'll give you a very good example. When I was making all my videos here, there's a guy I spoke to and he said to me, he bought a farm, he was scammed, he hates Zimbabwe, he will never do this again. Zimbabwe is lawless, there's no law in Zimbabwe. He just said so many negatives, said negative things about Zimbabwe. So I asked him, so what happened when you were purchasing your farm? And you know what he told me? He said, well, we went to Zimbabwe, we saw this farm, we were really interested in it. We were shown all the documents. And already, when he was saying this, in my head, I was like, there we go again. Here we go again. He saw all the documents, everything was laid out. He trusted the whole system. And then you know what mistake he made? He said he contacted someone high up. Imagine, high up to make sure that this process goes through. Now you tell me, why would you need to contact someone high up? I assume it's a minister or some government official. Why? If the process is meant to be straightforward. So anyway, this guy, he gets someone high up to facilitate the whole process. And guess what? He was scammed. And when he was scammed, there's no way to report. How are you going to report? You're going to be asked even in court, since when do you buy a property where you get a government official involved? But he was of the opinion that if he gets a government official, then things are going to, go faster. And then a lot of the headache and the waiting time is going to be alleviated. But he was scammed and you can't report it. So someone like that now is going to have this hatred because they've lost a lot of money, a hatred towards the system, a hatred towards the country. And this is what's happening to us. So if we want to make sure that we don't get scammed, unfortunately, we have to pay the professionals. Don't get your dad, don't get your aunt, your brother to do these professional things because they are not professionals. Now, I'm not saying every single one of you is in that case. Maybe you have relatives that can do a very good job. Fair enough. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, we need to engage professionals. So, what's the solution to all of this? Well, I think I've alluded to that. If you're going to be purchasing land, make sure you have a law firm. Make sure that you do the due diligence. If you want to build a house, make sure you engage a construction company. A proper construction company. Don't get someone you get referred to by someone else who was referred by someone else. Oh, they do a very good job. Because everyone in Zimbabwe, no one says they can't do anything. Everyone knows how to do something. Trust me, this is what people say when you're on the ground. And we fall for it every single time. I remember one time when my clutch, the clutch on my car wasn't working. A guy came and he says, look, I've been working for Audi on Audi cars for the past 15 years. I know how to fix your problem. And guess what? They made the problem even worse. I had to pay 3 times what I was supposed to pay from a Land Rover mechanic. 3 times. And they punished me for that because the part was broken and the part had to be ordered, and then the job that had to be done there took 3 times longer. But that person, I never saw them again. So no one says they can't fix a job or they can't do a job. They will convince you. So you need to be on the lookout for that. Get a proper law firm, get a construction company, a reputable one, and get proper contractors. Get proper contractors, proper companies. They are there. But you know why we don't go for these companies? Because they're expensive. Cheap is expensive. We go for cheap, and this is what happens. Even in farming, personally, I get a guy who comes to me and says, I've done chickens. Oh, okay, really? Yeah. You take that guy, you don't even check his credentials, nothing. You give him the job. Why? Because you're going to be paying him $120 a month, $200 a month. That's why. Because a professional, when they come, they want way more than that. But we don't. And guess what happens? The chickens die. Especially if you start doing large numbers. They die. Maybe you want to plant some cabbages. And I've done this. I planted cabbages on 1/4 hectare. Thought this was going to work out. It didn't. Why? Because I did not have an agronomist. Cabbages has been done for so many years. So to think that you're going to make it, different climate, different area, different everything, you think you're just going to make it, first time around, is ridiculous. So what have I learned throughout all this? I've learned that use professionals. Yes, it's going to be expensive. Yes, I might not even make a profit, but I want to see things done properly by professionals. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you can get things done properly in Zimbabwe. And this is how you avoid getting scammed, because everyone talks about all these shortcuts. We will go and pay someone at the deeds office so the deeds comes out quicker. No, I've done all these processes where I've bought land, I've bought a house. I did not need to pay anyone to fast track anything. But I'm not saying that's the case for everybody else. I'm telling you about my experience. I didn't have to do that. Everything was done proper. Even when it came to getting Zesa connected, we made an application and it was done proper. We didn't even need to pay anybody. So we have this idea of fast tracking things when it comes to Zimbabwe. Fast tracking things. No, this is how we get scammed. So when it comes to purchasing land or building and everything, I realize that a lot of diasporans have given up on the idea of parting with so much money. This is why I'm working on this diaspora initiative where if you want to purchase a house or you want to purchase land, it is going to be done with this diaspora initiative. Now, why do I think this works? Or why am I confident that this will work? Is it's going to be done collectively and we're going to spread the risk. And when we start constructing our houses, our retirement houses or our houses for investments, we are going to be using the best contractors, the best law firms, and pretty much the due diligence has to be done properly. That way, you just have to worry about just working, whatever you're paying towards, the building of your house, it just goes into a secure place because this is what matters. You want to make sure your money is secure, you're legally protected. So this is what we're trying to build. And very, very soon I'll be announcing, that we have this in place and you can come in and invest and have your retirement home back home. Or even if it's farming projects, then we all get involved in all these projects. I'm really looking forward to that. And by the way, there is a new channel that I've put together, WhatsApp group. Go ahead, sign up there, and that is where you're going to be getting all the updates. The link to that is in the video description below. Anyway, guys, I want to hear your experiences. Let me know about your experiences in the comments box below. Now, I know what I'm discussing right now did not happen to some of you. Well, it doesn't apply to you, but of course, I want to hear your views. Video description below. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care. Okay, so I'm interested to hear what you guys have experienced. Have you been scammed that way? Or rather, have you heard any stories? This will be very interesting for us on the show today, in my opinion. So can you call in and let me know what you've experienced, and also pretty much, if you've gone through something similar to what I've described in the video. So the phone number is right there. You can call me on +263 77641 9999. Okay, so yes, the lines are open. You can call me and let's discuss. Let's make this show very exciting. And also, I've noticed that quite a lot of you have tuned in. This is really, really awesome. There's a lot tuning in, which is exciting. So we have Africa's Finest, Green Phantom, Chipo, Angelina. We also have Journey to Roots. Yes, Journey to Roots. You can call me when you're free. Let's have a chat. People want to have an update because I noticed that you're a video of your videos in Zim. Right, so right away we have our first caller. Okay, let's see. Hello?
Hello?
Right, can you reduce the volume on the...
Yeah, I was going to say there's a delay.
Yes, please reduce the volume.
Yeah, nah, it's reduced now. Sorry, man, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, much better. All right, so welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in.
Anytime, man, anytime. I've been watching your stuff for a sec now. It's been interesting. So imagine, I've just come back from Zim last week or the week before, and apologies, I got hay fever, man. You know what it's like in the UK right now.
Wow. Did you get hay fever in Zim or here in the UK?
No, it started as soon as I landed back at Heathrow, like last week. Honestly, it's
quick story. The first time I experienced hay fever was here in England, and I thought I had a flu, and I didn't take anything for it. My eyes were itchy. I was rubbing my eyes. It was just terrible.
Classic, man. Classic. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. For me personally, oh man, you don't understand how bad it gets sometimes. I play a lot of basketball as well when it's outdoors. So, man, when they start cutting that grass in summer, it's a disaster here. But you know it's like that.
True. Okay, so tell us, how was Zim? What do you have to share with us today?
Zim is good right now. I turned 31 in March, and I can honestly say this time round was one of the best times coming to Zim. It was so interesting. But one thing that I've realized is, the scamming is real, man. Honestly, I'm only seeing that now. When I went with mum and dad this time round, because they've got projects in Gokwe, Harare, and some places in Gweru there as well. So there's a few things that they're working on, and obviously now I'm a bit older. I can see these things. I came when I was 10, so I spent like 21 years in the UK now. But you always hear the stories, home is best. Oh, yeah, and I musha. It's like, oh my word, no man, no internet, no water, no TV. I'm not doing it. But now that I'm older and I see what's going on that side, the opportunities are crazy. Money goes so much further if you know what you're doing. If you've got proper management on the ground, these things can work, man. Honestly, seriously, that's what I've seen this time around when we went. But the scamming is real, man. That's why I said in the chat there, it's off in the belly in the chat. The borehole drillers. The borehole drillers are taking everyone's money. It's not a joke. It's happening live. Oh, example, quick one, just to make it quick. My parents, 2 times, they've had contractors in Gokwe coming there, Torito, saying, we're coming. They come. They did the first drilling. They said, we need to go an extra 40 meters deeper because we've got the water. And they say, okay, but the truck is going to come. It's going to return tomorrow. Took 1,000 and disappeared. Our other one, my auntie, she's a head teacher at a school. They said, we're coming to the school to do it. They came, they drilled again, didn't put the casing, took 4,000 and disappeared.
4,000?
So this is a school, a government organization being robbed for money. My parents is a private organization being robbed for money. People are handing over money thinking you can trust these people, and oh my word. Actually, what you were saying about due diligence, making sure you have proper contractors, I work in construction myself, so I understand it, but this is different. So the whole trusting mentality that you were saying people need to have before they get involved with this, it makes sense. If you do your due diligence and you know who you're dealing with and you know what you're doing, it makes sense. But in Zim, it's so difficult, man. Even for myself, I think one of the main things I'm looking to do now moving forward is having a comprehensive list. Right now, it's accessible. You can see on the Zimbabwean government website all the registered contractors with the tenders, this and that. So there's people who already compiled a list of maybe over 600 companies in Zimbabwe who are registered to provide contracts. But you know how these things work. You have to go in yourself. So I've been going myself in my own time, sending emails, calling these people. Are you real? Who's your registered, let's say, owner at the minute? What's your main contact number? Confirming the basic details just to make sure, one, these people exist. Number two, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So by the end of summer, hopefully I'll have a list there of about 600 companies with the correct details. I'll openly share it with the community. I'll send it to you guys as a Google sheet so everyone else can. Because I know the main thing is with Zimbabweans, we don't share our information. People are doing projects. No one is giving advice. No one's giving away the blueprint because we're just so caught up in doing our own thing. But at the same time, this is freely available information. I've just taken the time to go on the zim.gov website, and I found the tender list of the contractors and registered contractors. So yeah, once I do my due diligence on that side, I'm more than happy to share this with the community, man. And it's so true what you're saying. It's an important part, man.
Yeah.
Just being able to have good information. It's so essential, man. It's so essential.
So tell me something. You mentioned that if you have things working on the ground, I mean, you can actually really make a lot of money. Are there any things that you do, that you're doing right now that you're profiting from?
At the minute, we're looking at chicken feed. I know it sounds crazy because everyone's doing chickens. Uku's everywhere right now. But I was speaking to one of my uncles, and while we were out there, he was went for family gathering. So we managed to meet with a lot of people doing different things. Some of them drive gonyets, some of them have chigayos, some of them are doing this and that. So I just got a wide range of projects that people are working on in Zim currently, making money from. So the chicken feed one is very good because I know for the feed mix itself, if you look at the actual proper mix, it needs to have obviously the vitamin, the requirements for the vitamins, you need the requirements for the calcium. The only issue is, for example, limestone flour is impossible to find as a calcium source. So what a lot of people are doing is they're just putting chibage through the chigayo, just feeding it that way. Just like even like fish meal, all these other things, you're supposed to have maybe like 3 or 4 main ingredients. The issue is a lot of people are cutting corners with this, so the quality of the feed isn't as good. So that's one thing since we've been back I'm looking to get involved in, because I don't know, I've done the maths and the chicken feed side makes a lot of sense to, because everyone's doing local right now. And even with he was talking about even Ivans being able to set up contracts where if you've got good road access, especially in Harare, they're willing to fund your project by giving you day-old chicks that you can then look after and buy them back for $1, $3 a chick. So ideally, the aim is to obviously replace the salary with this side. So maybe 2,500 chicks is a bit of a big number, but ideally that's the sweet spot I want to aim for and have. I've got one uncle who's currently doing this already there, not too far from Gweru. He's running projects of up to 3,000 to 5,000 chicks, and obviously with contracts with Ivans, you get the OKs, the chicken, this and So I'm looking to heavily get involved with him because he already has the blueprint. So I'm hoping I can speak to him to find out and then fund it from this side. With someone like himself who already is doing it, there'll be a situation where you can just piggyback on something that's already working with a person who's already on the ground, which is essential. Good management and good oversight, I think, is essential. But there's so much opportunities and money to be made in Zim if you have good management.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people this, you know, because sometimes people say, you know what, the economy is bad in Zimbabwe, you can't really make money. My experience as well while I was on the ground was crazy. You know, you just make an announcement that you have something, whether it's chickens, whether it's onions, whatever it is, you'll find that people will just come and bite cash, you know, no messing around.
Look there. There's ladies selling sadza, murio, and nyama. And people are buying every day. Gochis, they're busy every day. So you're telling me, with an economy like the thing is, we have the mindset and the access to the capital this side in the UK. But that side, the people don't have that, but they've got the willingness to learn and the drive. So if you marry the two together, there's an opportunity there for things to be done. That's why when people talk about, Zimbabwe's finished, this and that, whatever, I'm telling you, no. Okay, it's true. Like even like with the Murungus when they talk about Zimbabwe, you guys, you've got nothing. ABCD, it's a struggle out there. No, it's true. Please don't come to Zimbabwe. Don't. It's too much. I want to be there, retire, and enjoy what I've got, man. Honestly, don't come. Big fools, don't go there. It's not safe. I'm telling them all this stuff all the time, man. Just because I know the opportunities that are out there in Zim for the people that one want to work and number two want to do things properly. Honestly, when you even said the bit about cutting corners and things like that, my word, it was resonating with me so much because even I went to get my stupa and people were saying, $100 ABCD. I went on the website, $50 to replace a let's say an ID. Other people said, no, you have to pay $300, $500 to get it next day, this and that. When did it the proper way, it was sorted by the time I've come back now. So I don't understand.
You see, you've just nailed it right there. You know, I replaced my ID because I had the metal one. I mean, I'm way older than you. I had the metal one. I lost it in Zim. So people were saying, it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's so difficult. You know what? I went the normal straight way. I did not pay anyone to jump the queue. But you know what? It was straightforward. Of course, you have to wait a bit longer. But
of course,
we try to complicate things and try to make them seem like, you know, things are just so impossible in Zim. Even my son, you know, he did his provisionals. You know, he booked the provisionals straight up, no problems. He did the test. So sometimes we exaggerate all these.
Squeezing between the barrels there. That's what my dad always says. Squeezing between the barrels when you do your driving, you got to learn how to park with the drum.
But with him, he just did the test. He hasn't done the actual driving yet.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yes, but you know what? I'm really surprised and also shocked that someone as young as you, right, grew up most of your time in the UK, you're planning on wanting to do something back home. And yet, a lot of people back home want to come over here.
Oh, man, until they start getting hit with that tax, and they start seeing money disappearing from their accounts after having that CSO arrangement mess up ABCD. Leave them, man. Let them come and learn, man. They'll learn the proper way. Because from what I'm seeing, I promise you, in the time it's going to take me to figure out what to do and the projects to work on and the things that you can do in Zimbabwe, in the time it takes some of my friends here in this country to pay for a new build apartment that's going to be leaking in the roof, I will have land in Zimbabwe, Mombe, and a house with maybe even a swimming pool dug out. And I'll be living my life in Zimbabwe while these guys are still complaining that it's too cold this side and they're taking their holidays to Spain just to catch some sun. This time we went, I was there for 3 weeks. I was there in Zim for 3 weeks. It was the best time ever. We went from Masringo, Gokwe, Gweru, Harare, back to Gokwe, back to Kwekwe. We were just traveling, enjoy it. And you look back and you're thinking to yourself, hold on a minute. I haven't thought once about no bills. I haven't had to worry about topping up on oil. I haven't had to put petrol in the car like that. You just go. These things, it's like you see what life is supposed to be like when you go back home to Zim, man. And to be fair, I'm hooked now. Honestly, I think over the next 10 years or so, it's a situation in which, like, for those that have their minds right, as we see the dilapidation and the destruction of the European economy and these things are so uncertain, for the very few of us who get our minds right and we can speak to people in the diaspora to go back to Zim and start setting things up, I promise you it's as easy as getting Ivans to have an agreement with you where you get 2,000 to 3,000 chicks and you can sustain and feed that. A bag of 50 kilo feed is $32. You're spending less than $100 to feed the chicken, and in 3 weeks' time, having 2,500 to 3,000 in your account. I mean, the maths to me for something like that it's just like, how can I duplicate this as many times as possible? How many other projects are there out there where I can get this sort of return on my investment? Because here in the UK, for you to be doing something like that, you're either working online internet services or providing some sort of like solution for people where you're stressing every day, every night. You're having clients return to you, like return on brief. This is the brief. How can I do this? And you're scratching your head, sleeping at 2 in the morning. In Zim, you're telling you what? I can get someone to look after the huku and I can get 3,000 US at the end of the month. My word, what am I? Is this even a discussion, a conversation?
Yeah.
Come on, man. The investment is crazy. But the only thing, like I said, it just needs time, attention, and finances. If you match this together, you're sweet. Honestly, you can be going to see Vic Falls every 3 months if you want.
Yeah. You know what? It's always really exciting to hear from young people like you, like yourself, because sometimes, you know, when I talk positive about Zim, you know, people are so, you get attacked, you know, for saying something positive about Zim. But even me, of course, I'm here. I mean, I'm taking a break. I'm just waiting for my son to graduate, and then I'm back in Zim. I mean, I was there on the ground for 2 years straight, and can't complain. I loved it, you know, and I still love it. But anyway, look, let me take a few more calls. Go ahead, sorry.
Enjoy that, bro. I'll be watching 100%. No, I love everything you're doing, man. And if anything, we'll be in touch because I know the stuff that you've got to learn. Honestly, there's a few people who should be doing this but aren't doing it. At the end of the day, like, honestly, I'll be keeping an eye out, trying to hoover up all the information you've got for us, man. I'm a young man. I'm willing to learn all the mistakes you've made. I don't want to make them as well. So keeping up.
No, that's fantastic. So please do me a favor. You can join the WhatsApp group. The link is in the video description. And also,
commercial investments. I'm involved, man. I already signed up. Don't worry.
Oh, fantastic.
Come on. Other people are talkers, other people are action takers, man.
Yeah.
We're doing this. 2025 is our year, honestly. All the best, man.
No, thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate your energy, and we'll speak soon.
No, anytime. Last note, I remember the last live you did. On my word, you had me up until 1, 2 in the morning. This is that guy sleeping in this car. Oh my gosh, I was addicted when he was in this car. But I loved it, man. I'll be on the other side, man, and I'm rooting for you, man. All the best, yeah?
No, thank you so much for calling, man. Appreciate it.
I will speak soon. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Right, we have our next caller. Please, can you lower your volume? Tinashe, sorry, you know, I just had to take this call quickly. Sorry, but I'll get to you. Hello?
Okay, no, that's fine. Hello. Hi, bro. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good. And yourself?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for calling. So,
great.
Yeah. So share with us your story.
Good to be on your live, my brother. Yeah, we have been following you. I'm sure you have seen, and I'm also following you on the initiative that you are making with all the glitches, and I love that glitch. Thanks, and I really loved it when you were frustrated, and it's good to be frustrated because it actually teaches you to be more objective. 1, 2, to get straightforward people who actually give you better ideas and things that you would know. And I really like it because you were in Zimbabwe during that time when you were thinking about your farm. And my name is Tinashe, like you said, and I'm currently building a commercial goat farming myself in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And I'm based here in the Republic of Ireland. And one thing that I would say is we all have different footings. There are people who came to the diaspora way back, like yourself, and there are people who came to diaspora, like, for example, after maybe 2010, 15, 20. Those people are different from the people who came to diaspora around 2000, 2001, or even in the 90s, or those who were born. Because, like, imagine the kids who were born. I really love my brother who dropped the young guy who was your first caller. It looks like he's actually having a British accent. He lived there.
Yes.
But he's actually speaking positive about Zimbabwe. I would say, myself, I grew up in Zimbabwe. I worked in Zimbabwe for so many years. And what I have seen, there's money in Africa. And it's good we are talking about Zimbabwe. I'll give a good example of Somalia and Ethiopia. I had a brother who was in Somalia, and he was running greenhouses for the Somalis and the Ethiopian guys. And they were coming up together, like the model that you are doing. And imagine they are drilling 200 meter deep bores, which are costing them close to 8,000 to 10,000 to drill just one bore. And they did that, and he was a consultant in that business.
Wow.
So myself, one thing that I have learned is when people are coming up together, I said it in your group, but then I kept quiet because I saw the people who were chatting and all that. It's good to get into clusters. There are people who are still thinking. There are people who are in it. There are people who are already on the ground and knowing what is happening. And some of them, they will never say a word even in a WhatsApp group. We have the Africa Diaspora Business Platform. You know, after Gujutwa Jukwana Vanu and all that, I decided, no, let me create a platform. But I will go after all those people who say we drill balls, we do solar, we do this, we do that. If you check like my YouTube platform, I decided, no, let me record them on Zoom. Then I posted them on what? On Zoom. Just yesterday, I was with Carlos Smith on Zoom. We did a meeting. He's even calling on diasporans to say, oh, guys, come. I'm able to go to your farms just to do consultants. If you want to do pigs, if you want to do cattle, if you want to do chickens, I have the market for you. So the thing is, like the last video that I did, I was actually showcasing the journey from my farm, from my plot up to the highway. It's actually a journey that you wouldn't want to travel with your small car because the roads are very bad. But when I'm in Zim, I'm very happy to be there because I hardly see a car passing by. I hardly see even any dog passing through my plot. But this is what we have in Zimbabwe. There's a lot of land in Zimbabwe which has not been explored. But the problem that we have as people who are in the diaspora, we are always thinking of that land which is close to the city. We have the capacity to get the money. Why would you want to be 10 kilometers towards Harare? Why would you want to be 10 kilometers close to Gweru? You really know that there are barons who are coming, who are even taking the land which is closer to those cities, and they will create urban centers. Why would you want to go and farm in Chivu? Why would you want to go and farm in Mvuma? It's far. For when they discover about whatever you're doing, you would have gone far. I tell you, I would want maybe to pave way for others to come in. When I started myself, I did a plan with Afrostain Farmtech. They did a plan for my plot. After they did my plan, I even posted one on YouTube and said, no, brah, I need to contact you and maybe we can plan something. But because, like, you know, busy doing all other things and you'll be busy as well yourself, I couldn't see you in Zimbabwe. I was in Zimbabwe in October. Before the planting season, I was in Zimbabwe in March. So I discovered it makes no sense for us to be sending people to do things that we want to achieve when we are here in Europe. Because for me to get a ticket to go to Zimbabwe right now, if I book maybe in 3 months' time, I may need to pay maybe $800, which is to and fro. So to me, it makes sense for me to go to Zimbabwe. So I spoke to Madlela, one farmer who is in South Africa, is doing goats, he's doing Red Kalahari. Nobile Madlela. He inspired me a lot. He said, no, my brother, you know what? What I want you to do, go to Gwanda, get 40 goats. I went to Gwanda myself. I bought the 40 goats myself. After the whole plan that I had with Afrostain, I stayed almost a year with that plan. After drilling a bowl, I just planted maybe 2 hectares of maize for the guy who was working at the farm just to eat. Then I came back. I started to drill down towards my plan. Then he told me to say, no, what is it that you want to do? I said, no, I want to do commercial. I want to do like value addition, selling my own goats, selling my own chickens, doing my own cattle. Then he said, okay, but I will tell you about another model when you have started, but you haven't started because you don't know about these goats because you haven't kept them. So go and get 40 proper doors. I went to Gwanda, I bought 40 goats. The goats that I bought, if you check on my videos, I posted that video. They had a very, very low body score. Average price was $25 to $40, up to $60, thereabout. Then I bought 40 and I bought some sheep, about 5 of them. Then I transported them on my own. I had to put them on the farm. I never supplemented them the time when I came. They actually adapted very well in the farm. Then in December, the pictures that I got, awesome. The goats were now doing very well and they were very good. Then I decided, okay. Then he said to me, brother, you should know what you are going to feed the goats. There's no, you are going to be to be commercial when you don't know what you are going to feed those goats. So think about planting crops for those goats. Then he bought seed for me in South Africa. And he sent the seeds to my mom. My mom is very passionate. She's the one who is managing the things and all that. Then we planted our crops very well. In the rains, they were very late, around 22 December, thereabout. Then I bought a ticket for March to say I'm going to Zimbabwe in March. We did sorghum, we did maize, we did banana grass, we did velvet beans. All came out very well. Then I decided, let me look for a grinding mill. I wanted to import one from China, but the prices were a bit high for me to get it from China and to get it to Zimbabwe. Then after doing some meetings, I discovered Proza grinding mills. There's a guy who's got Proza grinding mills who is in Zimbabwe as well. Then we had a meeting with him. I recorded him on Zoom. Then after recording on Zoom, people recommended him. After recommending, I went, I saw him in Zimbabwe. The day I arrived in Zimbabwe at the Robert Mugabe International Airport, we spoke. Then the day after, we met at the farm. He brought my grinding mill. Then everything started. I was hands-on for almost a week, milling all the forage sorghum, milling all the maize. I did it on the ground. Then I said, no, I don't want to do pits. I would rather, if you check my videos.
What's your YouTube channel? What's your YouTube channel?
Just my name and say name, Tinashe Nyangari. Tinashe Nyangari, yeah. So if you check, what I did is I bought plastics, the 250 microns. But the first company that I got, like what you were saying when you started this video, you were saying everyone in Zimbabwe will tell you they know. They will tell you that, no, I know this, brother, I can do it. Yes. They sold me 150 micron bags. They were good, but they were not that good because they are on social media. Then when I was in Harare, I just walked down the streets. Then I saw a company, Raw Plastics. They were selling 250 micron bags, very good bags, very good thickness. Then I bought 100 bags from there. You know, when we were now doing the feed, mixing the feed, putting molasses, packing. If you check, we have almost 3 tons of feed right now that we have packed for the goats. Then what did I do? I went to Nema. Nema advertised. If you follow Brother Nema, who is doing the chickens, the Roadrunner chickens, he's also doing the contract farming for the diasporans as well, for the Roadrunner, because the market is ready. So for someone who can afford to do 10,000 chickens, 10,000 beds like now, at 6 months, the market is ready for you. You keep the beds. Up 6 months, he comes, you get them. And you get your money. Even if you're going to get $5, even if you're going to get $2 per bed, the 1,000 is all money because you are not there. Yeah. Then he said to me, I'm now going to destock my goats. He had 70 of the females that he had. Then I said, brother, can I buy the goats those goats from you. I bought the whole flock from Nema. I went and picked those goats because I wanted to go back to Gwanda to increase my stock, because I had learned now how to vaccinate the goats, how to dip them, how to do this, how to do this, how to do that. So now all those ones, they were ready. From October, December, January up to March, about 6-7 months. We never. Then I imported 2 packs from Mobile, the pure red Kalahari goats. Then he said to me, brother, now you have the goats. How many doses do you have? Then I said, I have 125. Then he said, okay, now let's introduce these pure ones. So for the pure ones, the ones that I bought from Nema, they are already kidding as we speak, and we are giving them the feed. But if I tell you the cost of the feed that we produced, it's not even over $600. The amount that we used for us to produce the feed. Then he said to me, brother, now I'm now telling you the secret that I wanted to tell you initially. But if I had told you that secret, you were going to run away because you were going to say the goats are expensive. You have to buy 5 or 10 animals which are pedigree.
Which are what?
Pedigree.
Pedigree. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, pure bloodlines. Then he said, now you have the 125. They are going to give you very good F1s, yeah? So those very good F1s, he said, okay, that's fine. It's good for your business, but you're going to sell them for $100 to $150 if they are males as F1s. But myself, my zeal is to grow these numbers up to 500, up to 1,000. Then I'll be able to supply my own kitchen. But then he said, no, don't worry about that. Buy the 5 or 10. Then the 5 or 10 pedigrees that you're going to buy, you are going to use the same bags that I have sold to you. I bought a big one and a small one. So these 2 now, they are going to be mating with the 10 pedigree animals that will cost about 4,000, 4,500 for you to buy the 10. But those 10, if you are buying them, if they are going to give you kids, expect twins, expect triplets, but from those kids that you are going to get an average of 6 to 8 males. So for the 6-8 males that you are going to get, at 3 months, you are going to be selling them at 400 to 450 each.
Wow.
So you see where the fix is now with the pedigree, but with 10 animals, but we have 125 crosses in Matebele that we have already. But we are thinking of commercial, which is a long term. But this one is going for what? For the pedigree. So he said, no, you bring these animals, put them in, seclude them, give them the proper bag, then you continue. So to cut the long story short, my advice, which I wouldn't want to say it's 100%, for us who are outside Zimbabwe, it's good for you to get proper knowledge, shun negativity. There are a lot of people who know a lot, but they don't practice anything.
Yeah.
If they come to ideas, they can crush anything, giving you anything that you would want, and after crushing it, they won't give you any solution to whatever that you would want. But the best thing to do is to save those people who are going to give you proper information. When it comes to animal husbandry, you won't go wrong when you are away, because your workers, they will be there at the farm, and they're very happy. And we are giving them $200 at the farm. But we are not worried about that, because we know that our returns, we are going to get them. And the way we are going to get them is out of the numbers that they are keeping. So the good thing is, if we have the capital, we better push the numbers. Let's get into contracts. But the contracts that we are going to get, if Carlos is saying he wants you to keep pigs at his farm, why would you want to take 50,000 to go and buy 1 hectare of land, which is costing 50,000? Instead of getting that 50,000, you just go to someone who is already established, like Carlos is saying right now, Pamatangeda now, come and do your 200 pigs. Then we sell them for you. Even if you get $2 out of 1 poker, it's all money and it's fluid money. When you want to put it into real estate, it will get multiplied.
Yes.
So my thinking is, for those people who have got offer letters, you see those offer letters, the farms that have offer letters, they are 40 hectare land. That land, you can actually rent it for $200. Giving that person $200, you'll be renting. Then you go and produce your chickens. If you produce your chickens, like for example for Nema, and you want to put the incubator, maybe 20,000 incubator running at a 10 kVA solar system, you produce the chicks. You say to Nema, I come with you, Ruwa. I say, my brother, let's do this together. I have this land. I don't want you to pay anything. What I want is I want your money because you have the capital. Like right now, as I'm speaking, I have my in-law who has a 40 acres, which I'm even farming. And it's at my disposal for me to use it. And I know it's secured because it is start over later. And it has a prospect of getting a deed. Why not taking your 20,000? Then you say, let's get into a contract. Let's take these chicks, 10,000 of them. We are paying 10,000. And we get our feed. Where are we going to get our feed? Let's plant it. We have a dam there. Let's put a water pump of 1,500. Let's plant it. Grind everything. Buy a pellet machine for $450. Pelletize our feed. Then we start feeding. So that way, we make more money other than putting 100,000, which we're expecting that is going to yield more maybe after 10 years. But the farming side of Zimbabwe, let's not think about exporting. It's way out of this world. Exporting will come, but let's start feeding the local. And if we feed the local and create our own kitchens, which are very good and nice, people in Zimbabwe, they use cash. Us here, we are using cards and all that, but it's difficult for you to handle cash. But now when you go with your cash, 5,000, it buys you cattle. If we want to fatten a ram land, let's say now for us, we have started with goats. We didn't start with pigs. We can do the pigs. But we didn't want to do the pigs because we knew that they were going to give us pressure. Because if we buy 5 sow units today and we buy maybe 5 gills that are already pregnant, in 3 months' time they'll be giving birth. And they'll be giving us pressure to say we need to give them food. Why not, let's plant the feed, get the grain first. After getting the grain, then we put our pigs. Then we say, Ruwa, the only thing that we need to do now, let's go to Manise. Manise right now, flourishing. Let's not think of Harare. Let's think of the Masvingo-Harare highway from Vuma up to Harare. The Manise area is affluent. A town is coming up there. It's high time we think towards that area and get something running along that highway. Because people, they might not be having cash, but the ideas that we are having, let's transform them into this organic farming. Thank you so much, my brother. I really love your zeal. And don't tire, but beware of these people. You know, it's also want to put 100,000, whatever. Some of it is not realistic.
Yeah.
It's usually realistic. Take one step at a time, put more money, realize the result, and we expand as we go. Yes, we can think big, but as we are thinking big, at times the risk shouldn't be too much.
Yes.
Because in Zimbabwe, the dollar can go away anytime. And this is what we'll be basing on. So if we want to take the cash, let's take what is there in the next 3 months and put it in our coffers. We get it, then we invest it somewhere else. Then we move on, and that way we'll make more money. Thank you so much, Mkoma Ruwa. Let me pave way for others. But I will get in touch with you, and we just discuss, we talk.
No, definitely we need to talk because, I mean, you've mentioned a lot of things here and it's really got me very, very excited. So, definitely. So, I'll also go to your YouTube channel. So make sure maybe tomorrow you give me a ring. I would like to share ideas and we can also share with the community. You know, that would be very great.
No, that's fine. I will call you definitely. I have something that is cooking. I think I promised you the other time, but it means kuti vanhu vakagara pasi, then they discuss kuti tikada kunotaura 1, 2, 3, 4 and there are a lot of people who can give kuti tona mastendi 20, tona mastendi 30, but to tell the truth, Harare now, if you are going to go and put a B&B in Harare, business razarane munhu wese. Yeah. Everyone is doing a B&B. But when you go into the farming side, there are people who are mixed pepper and achenda pa just mpindura. Anosvika kuonorima huku dzake 10,000. Maskati akutochinja mari. Then 10,000 idzodzo ari kudzigrosa kuti mutown. So those people won't tell you that this is what they are doing. Their boys vandotoziva vanorima beans. Anonorima beans uku. Oya kuno kune 5 tons dzake dzebeans. akutengesa masikati akutogara. Then people in Zimbabwe, they are very secretive. And the moment you start registering, and of course, it took already but ndikanore mahuku ndikauya nadzo handiti pandinonoregister, it means ndadana udyi hwakawanda huri kutonouya. Saka those boys, they won't tell you this is what they are doing, but they will be doing it. But us, because tiri kuburuka ndege, handiti the perception is everyone is thinking munhu ari kutodzika kubva mundege ane mari, like the perception yanga iriko kudhara. But to tell the truth, vanhu vari kuzimbabwe vamwe vanototihoresa mari.
I agree with you 100%. You know what I found shocking? What I found shocking, Inini, was when I went back home 2 years ago as a returning resident. I was supposed to move with the whole family, so I still had 2 younger kids who had to go to school. I tried to look for school for them, private schools. They were all fully booked, and I was scratching my head. I'm thinking, how is it possible that all these private schools are all fully booked? There's no spaces. Some of them were even saying they don't even have spaces for the next 2 years. So it means the money is there, but people are not saying anything. And what I also realized is a lot of these guys, there's one guy who sold me this massive freezer. He was making money with fish, selling fish. And he told me he bought a house in Chisipiti, selling fish. I could not believe it. But you know, when you started running down the numbers, it's very easy to see that it's possible. But you just have to put in the work. Because if you look at Zim, our food, we in Zimbabwe, we don't import any food. A lot, like how England is. So there's always a demand. So chicken, grains, all these things, if you grow them locally, there's a ready market for it. This is what people don't realize. But we still need to find out how it's being done. Because even me, I'm still scratching my head right now thinking, how are people making all this money? Because I want to also make that money.
No, my brother, you know what? You know, it's as good as Chevron, yeah? Mm-hmm. If we talk of Chevron today, mm-hmm. if we look at the prices, just yesterday, the price of goat meat is $5 per kg. Mm-hmm. But if you look at our local goats, they may weigh maybe 30, 40 kgs carcass weight, mm-hmm. if it's a local goat. Mm-hmm. So if you invest in improving that goat, the bag that I have right now, it weighs about 130 kgs.
What?
Just the bag. I'm telling you, 130 kgs, just a bag.
Is it a Boer goat?
It's a Kalahari. It's a red Kalahari.
Huh? What about a Boer goat? How much does a Boer goat weigh then?
It's almost the same. But not every Boer goat is a Boer goat.
Okay.
Yes. So it's important to understand the genes, where are the animals coming from, who raised them. Some, they will tell you the bloodline. Mm-hmm. So there are people who are getting goats from runners, especially in South Africa.
Right.
You get a bag being sold at $450. Uh-huh. Then think. Good. Oh, 450. When a pure bag for you to get it, it will cost you about $900 to $1,300 for you to get a pure bag.
Wow.
Which has got proper conformity. So when it is proper conformity, it will actually give you proper kids. So those kids, you are supposed to be able to identify those animals which are good. And when you realize it's breeding, you need to check. There are a lot of things that you need to check on those animals, mm-hmm. for you to say this is a breeding animal. Some of them, they're not even breeding animals. Cow them. Mm-hmm. Put them away. If they are males, just castrate them. Leave them for meat. Then 5 months, a goat is ready for the market. If you weigh it on the scale, you realize that the F1 would have, if it was maybe the mother was weighing 50 kgs to 60 kgs, mm-hmm. when you breed it with a proper bag, you get an F1, it will even double the weight of mm-hmm. the mother, or even to be closer to the weight of the mother, meaning to say your carcass weight has improved. But now, because we have the money, these people, they close their groups. If you check, those groups, they are closed because they don't want people to scrutinize. So if you see all the runners, sorry to say this, I know some may be listening, but I have to say it. Their groups will be closed, so that you cannot comment. So they post the videos of animals running around. Then when they post those animals, they'll be very good. So those animals, they'll be looking very good and nice, and they'll tell you, meet us on the road, then you'll get your back from the road. So when you get that back from the road, in South Africa, that animal would have been classified as a cowed animal. It's not good for breeding. But here, when you go to Zimbabwe, it will be boer goat, brown head, nice, very fat and all that. Take it to your females, it will not even start like following any female, not even one. Then you say, what's happening? Then already 450 is gone. So it's very important to understand your trade before you get into it.
Yeah, but hang on. So where do you buy the original ones, the proper F1s?
So my proper animals, I'll send you my proper animals. I didn't buy an F1. I bought, first of all, I went to buy just crossbreeds. Crossbreed Matebele and Matebele mostly. But now I was taught to select the animals. So I went to Rwanda for 2 days. So I was selecting, no, that one I want it, that one I don't, that one I want it, that one I don't. And the animals that I selected, I was checking, you check the legs, the hind legs, the front ones, how are they stepping? Are they having a proper conformity in terms of the head? Are you going to get, if it's going to get maybe twins, is it going to be able to deliver those twins? Yeah. So after checking those animals, now they are good. If I show you the pictures now, they are shiny, nice, crispy. So the thing is, we are now looking at breeding them. But when you are now breeding them, if you bring a buck which is 130 kgs and you are bringing it to a 20 kg goat, it's not going to save any people because there is no tax that mount at those goats.
Okay.
So you need to get proper females that are able to be mounted by those goats. And a goat, for your own information, it can make more money. I have seen some videos being made on YouTube. Goats can make more money more than cattle.
But where's the market for this goat? I don't see anywhere where they sell goat meat. Even when I was in Harare, I only see beef and chicken.
It's because there's no meat, brother. Let me ask you today. I want you to go to your rural area, even for the guys who are on the platform, who is able to say, let's say someone comes in, like the Arab market, they say they want 20 tons of meat.
Yeah.
Is there any farmer
No.
who is able to sell 40 goats at once?
No. It's very, they're very few.
So that's where the fix is, number one. Number two, the second fix is on the type of meat that we are producing. We don't have the feed, number one. Two, we are just letting them go to run around and be eating trina, this, there, and all that. If a goat is well fed, manye inongoziva kuti ndiri kudya mudanga mangu and kana ndapedza kudya ndichabuda for few minutes and come back. So if you cut it, the meat will be classy, it will be good. So that's why now you are going to get into the market and say, if I get 1,000 goats, well, a goat can give you twice. But the twice now, the tricky bit is, it goes for 5 months, right? 5 months, you've chengeta mwana. But then kana yachengeta mwana for 5 months, iwewe manje ukaifeed, it goes on heat again very fast. So it means twice a year, inogona kupa my kids. So even if it's giving it single, it's enough.
Yeah, but who's buying this goat meat? I don't think there's a demand for it though.
No, there's a lot of demand. Carlos, like right now, if you go and check, Carlos, as we speak, he's selling goat meat, but he can't even find people who can supply him with the goat meat. It's not there. That's why it's not there on the shelves. Let's use the numbers.
Okay, now let me ask you another question. Zimbabweans, do they like buying goat meat? Maybe I'm missing something. Do they like buying goat meat?
They do.
Really?
Yes, they do. Yeah. And they can't find it. And do you know goat milk? Goat milk, there are people who are doing sun and goats as we speak. If you look at all the women that you are seeing, creams, they say, it's coming from goat milk. But who is producing goat milk in Zimbabwe? Farmer who is close to Harare, he has got very few animals, but he already has the market for the milk, and it's going all of it.
Wow. This is news to me.
So the issue is we don't have the numbers. Because right now, myself, I'm telling you, I have 125 females, right? So if I have got 125 females today, then the Arab market tells us, guys, we want 20 tons. I sell 80 goats.
Yeah.
So the tricky bit in the good Paruda patients, one. You could let's do the numbers. Ruwa get 500. Tinashe get 500. Let's say 1,000 goats that are running. So if the 1,000 that we are running with, we are getting our kids from there. All the males that we are getting, we say these ones are going for the knife. So if they are going for the knife, we want to pay our workers as well. So the males that we are getting, there are some F1s, this one I can't cut it. The guy in the supermarket, going to think it's going to be $250. That's the money that we should be using for the amenities, the paparazzi. But we should be able to cut every week. We should be able to supply 20 goats.
Every week?
Every week. Yes, but there's no farmer who is able to supply the 20 goats every week in Zimbabwe.
It sounds like a small number, but it is a lot. It is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story. When I was doing road runners, right? I thought I had so many chickens when I had 1,000. But when I came across this restaurant, they were asking for, I think it was about 30 every week. When the numbers started going down, I realized I had to have another supply of chicks to make sure when this whole lot is gone, the chicks are ready. And it can be very, very complicated. But anyway, what you're saying is very interesting. I think we need to have this conversation in detail another time. Let's give others a chance to speak. But thank you very much for calling. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, my brother. Thanks, my brother. And also get in touch with Nema. You see, Nema Chickens, he's doing road runners, right? Right now he's into contracts. He's getting contracts from other farmers, the diasporans and all that. It's because now he has established the market. People, they are coming. An NGO will come and say, we want 10,000. Where are you going to get the beds from? And then the next person who is saying he's doing chicken, he's doing continuously 50 beds. So if you are doing the 50 beds, that's not business.
Yes, it's too low. It's way too low.
Business. You are just keeping beds for people to eat. You are not doing business. But we should be looking at this in a way of saying, guys, let's build numbers. If I have got a 40-hectare farm now, if Ruwa, you are there, and we are 5 of us, we are able to say, let's put 1,000, just to get 5,000 beds. We buy our own incubator. We give ourselves a period of incubation to say, chickens, they require 21 days for you to incubate the eggs, right? So if you buy point of lays 5,000, meaning to say in 21 days, you are able to hatch the egg at a hatch rate maybe of 75 to 80%. So my issue is, when we are thinking, let's think with the things that we can get the money as early as possible, then make that business grow out of the simple money that you have put into place. Instead of putting 20,000, put 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put 1,000, grow it, and it will give you 10,000 in 6 months. Wouldn't that be good, man? Other than thinking of things that will happen when you die.
I
Because when
agree.
you die, your children can choose to put you in a nursing home. You'll be having dementia. You are tired. You are all that. They can choose to put you in a nursing home. You die a tired man. So thank you so much, Mkoma Augustine. We'll talk. There's a lot that we need to discuss, and I think it's important and prudent enough to have other callers coming in
Yes.
to share their inspiring stories. Yeah.
No, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your call and sharing your information with us. Awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you, Mkoma.
Okay. Right. That was very, very interesting. Okay, let's go to Evander. I hope he's still ready for the call. Let's see. Evander.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? You're live, by the way.
Yes. I'm very well around. How's things?
Yeah, things are okay. Things are okay. You know, a few ups and downs, but you know, we just have to keep keep on moving. You know.
Yes, man. I know. You know, it's funny. I was listening to your discussion early on live, and I was just, man, I was totally agreeing with you on what you're saying. Because I posted a video, and it was talk about me saying I'm giving up on them. And when I look back at the reason why, it just reminded me that, you know, the cheap jobs that you're saying, sometimes you just have to go on for the professional pay once and do a good job and get a good job done.
Yes.
You know, and I was totally agreeing with that. And I just think that's a conversation that needs to be spoken about more.
So, Evander, I just saw your videos. So it looks like you are in Zimbabwe right now. So tell us, what's the situation there? What's the situation there? Because, I mean, for those of you guys that don't know Evander, I interviewed him. He's our brother who was, I interviewed him living off his car. So it's just an update now to find out how is Zimbabwe on the ground and what's the situation there?
Okay, so Zim is amazing, like always, and I'm beginning to explore more. Like, you know, I made, like I said, I've made mistakes by buying a car that hasn't working out well. So at the moment, getting it fixed, but I've got amazing families which are driving me around. I went to Bridge. And it was amazing to see my cousin. He did not tell me anything about what he was doing. He just spoke on the phone. So I went to Bridge, and he just showed me this massive project. You know, I was there in 2022. It was not there. So for me, it was just like a magical field, man. It was massive, but it was big. You know, he did a lot of work, and he never mentioned nothing. And when I went there, he just took me to this Greenland, and, you know, he's 26 years old, and he's actually managed to make a sustainable income, you know, out of this farm. And, you know, there is people out there making money in Zim.
What is he doing?
When I look at the work, so he sells vegetables. So he actually started off selling chicken. So I think he sold 150 birds. And then invested 150 chickens and invested into a massive garden. So selling muriwo, vegetables in the valley will be chamolia.
Okay.
And, you know, and he started off and he managed to invest. He's done drips. He's doing really, really well. And he doesn't actually sell individual to just anyone. He actually supplies people at the market.
So that's all he's doing?
You know, that's all he's doing. That's all he's doing. And he's actually earning good money, you know, from it, you know. And this is totally different to what he went to university for, and
So
he couldn't get a job.
So hang on. Let's go back to the vegetables here. So these these vegetables, how much money is he making per week?
He's making about $500 per week, man.
$500 per week. That's $2,000 a month.
$500 a week. That's $2,000 a month.
Come on, is he just saying this, or you actually witnessed this?
I actually witnessed this. So in the morning, he filled up a full truckload of vegetables, a full truck, and that's what he does a couple of times a week. Fills up a full truckload and goes to the market, sells them at wholesale prices. And because Beitbridge is a dry place, you see, and he has actually managed to have two. He has a well and two solar,
solar panels,
solar pumps.
Oh, solar pumps. Sorry,
and solar pumps, and he's feeding his garden, and he's making his money from there. I mean, he also does, like I say, he's got a few goats that he does sell, but mainly his money comes from his garden, a massive garden. It's mind blowing. In fact, the camera doesn't justify how big the garden is.
So how big? What's the size? Is it a few hectares? What is it?
A good question. I don't know if it shows on the video. I didn't ask him how big it is, but I was impressed. All I can say is that they are producing a lot, and it's a special breed. It's called Corvo.
Okay.
And it produces quite a bit, and he's selling. So basically, he fills up the truck and sells it. The demand is high. So it's so high that actually, when I went, I bought a few bunches to support him, just to say, listen, I bought from you. Mm-hmm. And when I went to the townhouse, the family townhouse in Beitbridge, people came running to me asking if I was selling those vegetables. I could have actually made money from just by selling the ones that I bought from him. I was taking them back home to Masvingo, but people were actually running to buy the vegetables from me, because I bought quite a few branches for my mom and for my grandma, and then, the ones that are in Masvingo. And so he just saw a market, and it's in high demand. It's a dry city. For you to transport those vegetables to Beitbridge will cost a lot of, it would be too dry. So he found the gap in the market, and he is making good money from it.
I'm trying to get my head around $500 per week. So are you making a plan to to do the same over there?
I think, to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind investing in his project, because he's planning to open up bigger space. So I'll try and work around the idea of actually investing in his project. Mm-hmm. Maybe not duplicating what he's doing, but maybe help him expand it. And that's the thing that was touching, was he was very detailed with his garden. The security to I saw you saw water drips. Yeah, the water dripping system, mm-hmm. and everything out there. And I can trust my money into somebody that has done what he's done, because it shows that he's got discipline. Mm-hmm. The discipline that Isha has is mind blowing. Wow. I don't really care. I mean, he's opened up he's making money from his garden, but it's the discipline that I saw from it. Because I know the family background. I know that things were not easy, mm-hmm. and for him to actually do what he did, I was very impressed.
Wow,
very interesting.
That is very very interesting. Okay, so let's shift over now. You mentioned that you bought a car And the car is broken down. What was the situation with that? What happened?
Oh man. Oh, we can write down the story about this. So I bought this car, and so so in 2022. So I left them 2022. I came back in 2023. For just to see my family, and my disc broke, so I had to replace the disc. That cost me about $700 US dollars to replace the whole disc system. So we managed to fix that. Then as I was in the UK, I came back to the UK, my wife is saying the car is making a diesel knock. It was injectors. I went and I bought all 4 sets of injectors, and I'm thinking, okay, there cannot be something going wrong anymore. So I came back, and then I'm driving, white smoke comes out. I'm being told, okay, my turbo is gone. So
and those things are expensive, you know. Those things are expensive, you know.
Bro, the car chose all the expensive.
Wow.
So now I heard that some oil pistols or whatnot or something needs replacing, and my car is now at the garage.
Oh my goodness.
But the thing is, what I suspect as well is, I don't think it's the quality of the stuff that the car has, because I don't understand how all these things are just piling up. But anyways,
what car is it? What car is it? Out of interest.
It's an Isuzu. It's an Isuzu D-Tech. Yeah.
They're supposed to be strong, those cars,
Yes, they are meant to be strong. But one thing I've learned is, even though they're both Japanese cars, for anyone that's going to buy a car in Zimbabwe, don't buy an Isuzu. Buy a Toyota. And the reason why, Toyota parts are much more accessible, and also they're cheaper. So if I had to do this again, and for anyone who's thinking about about buying a car, please don't buy Isuzu, especially if it's old. You'd rather go for an old Toyota, because they say Isuzu is the Mercedes of a van. Like it's an expensive car. If you compare it to yes. So with parts are much more harder to get and way more expensive.
Wow. Okay, I didn't even know that.
And I never knew this. Yes,
I
did not know that.
I was actually planning to buy an Isuzu KB. I think it was KB something. For the farm.
It depends now. If it's the old Isuzu that does not have any electronics, that's a good car. Because when you're talking about the newer versions, like say 2000, well, it's not new, but say 2009 upwards, they got a lot of electronics to it. So what I found out was there are problems, because number one, the diesel in them is not the best. So those cars do struggle, especially Isuzu struggle with the diesel. So injectors go really fast. So, and how I realized this, where I'm getting my car fixed right now, all the cars that have injector problems are Isuzus. Like, there's no Toyota there that's got injector problems, but all of them are Isuzus. So I reckon that the Isuzus don't do well with the diesel from them. And when you talk about the KB, there is another KB Isuzu that it has a very simple engine. If that's the one you're talking about, then that one doesn't have a problem.
Okay.
It's the one,
It's the newer ones which have all the electrics. Okay, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. So tell me something. Now you're back in Zim. What else is happening? I mean, what are the are you seeing any opportunities there? I mean, has anything changed since you've been there? I mean, I'm curious to hear this update,
Yes, definitely. There is a lot of opportunity, 100%. And I hit a low, I'll say last week, where obviously a lot of things just happened with the car and all those things. But then, you had to look at the bright side. And there is people out there that are making good money, and it's just about, for me personally, I think that Zim is changing. People are beginning to like nice things. I think that there's a big market out here. When I go into the fridges, guys, when you go into, for example, Pick and Pay, people love cheese. Why is cheese so expensive? We need to start doing a lot more, what you call it? We need to start making our own produce, guys. Instead of buying things from South Africa, we need to start making our own, what's the word? Out of my head. We need to start manufacturing our own food. Like cheese. People are buying cheese for $15. $15
Wow.
for a block of cheese. If you butter, things like butter itself, some places, yes, you can get butter for $5, but some places are selling butter for $11.
No, I agree. I agree with you because you know what? I used to do a bit of baking, and butter is expensive. It's super expensive. So I agree with you. I mean, making our own products will be one of the best things to do, and there's an opportunity there, and an open opportunity there, for sure.
Definitely, we need more brands in Zimbabwe. So the opportunities are there. We need to process our own stuff, and I think that there's a big space in the market. There's so much opportunities. Zimbabwe has so much fruit. We get fruit in abundance, but we just leave it as it comes. As soon as we eat the fruit, it's gone. But we need to start processing our fruits and start making dry fruits. Start making snacks. Start making, chutney, jams. Let's start making those things because we have fruits in abundance. Like how many people have lemons chopping down and rotting on the floor? How many mango seasons? Same thing. Mangoes rotting, dropping on the floor. Look at all these amazing seasons, and I think there's so much opportunities with those things. And yet we're buying dried mango snacks from South Africa, from the Chinese shops.
I agree. There's a lot of opportunities there, especially even tomatoes. The way they get wasted, and the shelf life is just. Yeah, there's a lot of wastage there. I agree with you. So what are your plans? Are you coming back anytime soon, or are you going to be there for a while?
So I've been in Zim for 1 month. I'm coming back. Actually, unfortunately, I'll be flying back next week back to the UK. But it's also, today I met a really great guy. I just had a big braai with my friend. He actually works for a massive company here in Zim. And he was telling me this today. You cannot supply enough beef in Zim. Like, it's impossible to supply the beef that he's slaughtering in a month, but 1,000 cows.
What?
1,000 cows.
And there isn't enough.
And it isn't enough. So you just ask yourself, like, how is this so? Because we see a lot of cows, loads of people having cows. But the problem is, there's a difference of our grandparents having cows and knowing how to farm cows. You understand? There's a big difference between the two. And that's the one thing that he told me was, there's people that can have cows, but do you really know how to farm cows? Do you know the art of the business? So he's saying to me that he's happy to teach me. So I think I'm going to interview him the next time I do come back to Zimbabwe. So I will interview him and put it on video because I feel like we need to learn and teach. The pie is too big, and I think that it's not being afraid to teach people what what is working in Zimbabwe, especially when it comes to food, because the pie is so big, you know, and I think that we need to learn not to be a gatekeeper,
Yeah.
you know, and learn how to support people and show what works, because we need to be the breadbasket again. There's so much opportunity of food. You know, this guy is slaughtering 1,000 cows, you know, not just for Mashingo, but it's going to Bulawayo, Harare, you know, all these places, and they still need more cows.
Yeah, you know what? I think I agree with you on that one, because the one thing that we are missing is the art of doing it commercially. Because then, you know, I was speaking to Tinashe earlier on. He was talking about genetics, right? You see, if you were to say to me, hey, you know what? Go and have some cows, right? For business. The picture that I have in my head is me growing up, grade 7, you know, Form 1, going to Mutoko there, my grandmother's village. And the cows that she had, those are the cows that are in my head. So I'm thinking, multiply those, and that's me. But in order for this to be a proper business, you have to go with the proper genes, have a massive cow so you can sell more kilos of beef, and then take it up from there. So there's a lot of information we don't know about animal husbandry, unfortunately. So I think that'll be great if you were to interview him and share the video, you know, in the community. That'll be fantastic. So we can always continue learning.
Yeah, definitely. I know people that have swapped a big a tractor for a bull. Just think about that. A tractor. They've swapped their tractor for one bull that has good genetics.
Wow.
And if you and that's just long-term thinking, because in a few years' time, if you've got enough good breeds coming out from that bull, you can buy another tractor. You know, you can replace the tractor within a few years. You know, and the idea is we just got to be long-term thinkers and also just know how to work with the breeds that we have in Zim. Because people can crossbreed. Like, for example, a Brahmin by he was also telling me that a purebred Brahmin comes with health complications, and it also may come with a bit more difficult because it can be more prone to certain diseases. But if you breed it with a hard Mashona cow, it becomes more immune to a lot of other diseases. You know, so just knowing how to, So sometimes don't just run for pure breeds, Brahmins, because you might hit up with a lot more expenses, and that's going to eat your money, because the medications that you're going to have to get for that pure breed will be way more costly than if you mixed it with a local cow. If you mix with a local cow, it becomes more immune. So it's one of those things that don't just chase after the pure breeds, because you may not be able to afford it, and it may become more expensive, and you feel like this may not work for you. But just knowing how to crossbreed might be a good thing for you. Yeah.
Anyway, you know what? I'm looking forward to that interview, because I'd like to learn more about all these things. You know, it's all new to me. But anyway, you know what? Thanks a lot for calling in and giving us an update. I'm glad you're still positive and you're still on the ground. So hey, stay strong, and let's chat soon.
By the way, I'm enjoying myself sleeping on a bed. On Thursday, I'll be back sleeping in the car. So just to let you know.
No, enjoy your time now. Enjoy the bed, bro.
Enjoy the bed before I move back in my car.
Exactly. Awesome.
Later.
No, thank you so much, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, man. Bye.
All right, cheers. Wow, that was great. Okay, I've got a few missed calls here. Grace has been trying to call me. I'm not sure if Grace is still available. Let me just try it now. But for some of you, who want to call in, feel free to call in. That's the number right there. Hello?
Hey, Ruwa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've been watching you over the last couple of months. I found your channel, and I've been finding it so inspiring. Like it's not like it's like when I learn. Oh, can I speak in Shona?
English, please, just in case we have people that don't understand Shona.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
It's really nice to see people who are outside the country who are really positive about going back home, because so many times I stay outside Zim and I'm young. Mm-hmm. And when I tell people that I want to go back home, they'll tell you, oh, there's nothing in Zim. Oh, nothing will work out for you. You should stay there. You should work there. Mm-hmm. But it's every time that I go home, I see those opportunities. I see how, like, I have a friend of mine who's doing catering. Uh-huh. She's got a catering business, and she seems to be making it. Like, it's making sense for her. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking that she's working on her own terms, and she doesn't have a boss. She doesn't have to worry about these layoffs that are coming up. Nothing like that.
So tell me something. Are you in Zim right now?
I'm not in Zim right now.
Okay.
I'm in the US, and the last time I was in Zim was in December.
Okay, that's not too far off. So tell me, when you are there seeing this, does that make you feel like wanting to just move back to Zim?
It does make me want to move back home, but there's an issue there. I have to first figure out how to make some money and just get my footing there, because I haven't lived in Zim for almost 10 years. So I feel like there's a bit of disconnect in terms of what's going on, where I'm at. Mm-hmm. So it's been research, it has been trial and error, and I tried to do like small businesses just to test to see how it would work. And people in Zimbabwe, I have no words for them. Like, even when you were sharing your what happened to you with your chicken business,
yes,
it's something that I completely understand, and I can see that happening.
Yes. No, you know what? I mean, even me, when everywhere I look, there's so many opportunities, but it's how to make it work. Because you see, as I mentioned in the beginning of the live, I've lived my adult life in the UK. So that's all I know. So to then go on the ground and try and just make things work, my head is still in the UK frame of things. So on the ground, you need you need to do it differently. And I'm still trying to work out how I'm going to make it work. But of course, the opportunities are there, and it's amazing. Like you said, I've got a friend of mine who the wife supplies. She does catering. She supplies I think it's the police or the prisons.
Yeah.
She is making so much money. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's something that if I were to just go into that, I'll go back and just go into that business without even thinking about it. That's how amazing it is. And it's not even anything complicated.
Yes, that's true. Like, even some people that I've seen, like, in the remote areas, like Kuma outskirts, people are making sadza. Sometimes it's sadza, beef and veggies. People are killing it. People cannot meet demand. It's crazy. Like, it sounds very simple, and there are people that I've seen who are in those areas where by the growth point, there are people who are making sadza. You will plant your veggies, and those people are just coming in their numbers to get veggies and tomatoes from you. And it's I don't know. Maybe I'm being positive because I really want to go home, but
no.
Those people, it's making sense.
No. What you're saying is true, because there was a time I was selling broilers. I mean, I didn't advertise them on the channel or even on the website, because I was doing small numbers. I was doing about 100 a week, right? While I was in Zim.
Yes.
Because when I stopped the Roadrunners, I was advised to just go into broilers. The cycle is just 6 weeks and you get your money and that's it. So when I was doing the broilers, like you mentioned, the women that sell the sadzas, they used to come and buy 5 chickens each every day. So I ended up not even meeting demand for the ladies that just does the sadza. Imagine. So when I sell my chicken for $6, they cut that chicken into 12 pieces and they make $12.
Oh, yeah.
So they make $12 per chicken selling the sadza. It's amazing. It's a no-brainer business, but these people are actually making, quite a considerable amount of money. So you can imagine they're selling 4 chickens each, every day, and the demand is there because there's builders around. Some people just love the way they cook, and that's how they're making the money. So I don't think you're just being positive, but that's the real truth about how people are making money on the ground.
That's true. Even what is it called? There's something that I saw as well when I went home. It was, it can't come to mind. I don't know. I'll think about it. Probably these things will come to me once I'm done talking to you. But there's many things, especially in the hospitality industry as well. I feel like there's a gap. There's someone that I saw on YouTube. They stay in Chinoy, and she was talking about how she wants to go to nice restaurants, just like Harare. But she was saying that there's no place that's nice, that will, for young people, that's making sense. And I thought to myself, I was like, some of these things, especially staying in the diaspora, it's a matter of copy and paste. And we can find ways to implement it. But the challenge also in them is people not really rather finding reliable workers. In the little things I've tried to do, it's the workers that are a challenge. And I don't know how we can ever overcome that problem. I'm yet to find someone who can give me a solution to that because...
Yes, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I've been having problems with that. I mean, the workers, for me, I don't even know. So I'm starting to think, okay, one day if I make a lot of money, I'll just automate most of the work, because it's difficult to get people who are trustworthy and who have that work ethic. It's very, very difficult.
Oh, yes. That is true, because I also saw that when I was at home, we went to a restaurant and my parents were saying that, this place is really nice. It's run by a white person. And when that person is there, things are going okay. But when we went, so the time they've gone there, the owner is there. But the time that I went with them, the owner was not there. And the server did not seem interested in getting our order. Our order was wrong. Everything was just a mess. And me being me, I was thinking of this restaurant business in my head, and I'm like, you really have to be there every day, every time for things to go well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It has to be a business where you can't be in the business, yourself 24/7. It has to be something that just runs. Like how it is in the West. You go to McDonald's, everything just works. You're guaranteed to see things working there, but the owner is not really there, or the CEO is not really there at each, location to make sure everything is working. So I guess we need to learn quite a lot when it comes to running these businesses. So we do have a lot to work, but definitely the opportunities are there. Sometimes when I go to Pick and Pay, I can see the packaging, the branding is not really on point. And I'm saying to myself, wow, this can be improved. And there's just so many areas where I think has opportunities.
That's true.
Yes.
That is true. I think Zim has a lot of opportunities, but I think it needs someone who can actually go there and spend time on the ground and not do this phone business that I am doing. And be part of the people, get to know the people. And by doing so, you'll be able to identify very small areas, but you can fill in the gaps, and it can take you somewhere, especially with the younger generation. They like nice things. We like nice things rather. And I'm seeing it even with, again, YouTube has been my big research. I've seen people my age, they don't like to rent these places with dirty walls like back then. So you find that I've seen people, like I saw someone who was building on a small piece of land, a house where you can, with a divider sort of, and then one side it's like a little unit with a kitchen and everything, and then the other side the same thing, but only that it's not that thing you could see where people were renting one room. And people actually like that. And they rather pay a little bit more because, I'm seeing content creators are coming in Zim. They want to have a house that looks nice so that they can do their thing.
Yeah.
Even something that I saw from someone on YouTube, they went to SA to go to, it's like a studio where they do their content creation. I'm not familiar with content creation, but it's something that I saw that I could actually get a house in Zim. And I don't know whether there's a lot of them where you can make different rooms can have different themes and content creators can come, pretend it's their house if they want to and do something with it. And if someone was willing to fly to SA and pay, how much did she pay? I think 1,000 rand for a couple of hours.
Wow.
Why not put it in Zoom?
Exactly. That would work really well because especially if you can provide even the gear, like the cameras, the microphones, and also basic editing, editing computers. I think that would work really well.
Oh yes, I think so, but I haven't done much research on it. But they're just rough ideas that I've seen that I think could be implemented, and we can go somewhere with it.
No, I agree. Anyway, Grace, you know what? Thank you very much for calling. I mean, it's great that you're supporting the channel and you watch all our videos. I really appreciate that because without you guys, this channel, is nothing. So, thank you so much for your support.
Okay, thank you. It was nice talking to you.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. I saw something in the comments here. Build and grow. So it says not everyone making it has crazy land, my friend. 2,000 square meters anyway is enough to run a massive chicken project. Most people make the mistake of wanting to start big and get rich quick. Yes, that is the problem I faced when I started my Roadrunner business. I bought an incubator and I was doing a lot of Roadrunners in one go. And I really paid the price for that. And all that work was being done on a 1.5 hectare piece of land. And you know what? I wasn't even using even half of it. So when it comes to land, you don't have to have all these hectares and hectares of land. Right now, as we speak, I've got 4 hectares. The other 2.5 hectares is not even developed. I haven't even touched it. It is very, 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 very big, for projects. So even if you wanted to do chickens on 1 hectare, you would need to spend so much money on the chicken runs, and that will cost you thousands, by the way. And you'll still have enough space left to do other things like maybe grow a bit of vegetables here or, a few crops on the side or whatever it is. So 2 hectares is massive to start, a basic project. So I would say start small and then, grow with time. Because if you go big, most of the time, you'll crash. Anyway, I just thought I'll just chime in there and just say a few things. Anyway, there's the number on the screen if you want to call. We have Maria. Let me see if Maria is still listening. In fact, we have Nash. Okay, let me see if we can get Nash on the call. Hello?
Hello, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Just enjoying the life that we're living right now.
Awesome. You're live, by the way. You're live.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been watching you and I thought I'd also chime in a little bit, maybe share a little bit of what I'm doing.
That's nice.
I don't know if it's right, but I also want to see what other people think as well.
Yeah. Go ahead. I mean, the platform is yours. Go ahead. I'm interested to hear as well.
So I'm from a finance background, and I always think differently from many people. It's like a perfect example is I want to go back home for sure. I think in the next 2 years I need to be back home because I don't see much happening this side. But then I realized, the the money is also not enough because, if you're in this side of the world, people don't realize that most times you actually live paycheck to paycheck. Things are expensive. A lot is happening. And, so what I then realized was, why not use the banks this side to make money for myself? The same way they use us to make money. So I ended up, for me, I'm a risk. I love risk. I take risk, but I prefer calculated risk as well. And I realized I'll take loans from the bank. So my bank can give me like a line of credit at like 4% interest rate. Right? So I know for the past couple of years, the wife and I, we've just been buying properties back home, left, right, and center when we can. We open up another line of credit in terms of because we also have houses this side. So we're using that equity as well to actually invest back home so that we make sure that we lay the ground back home. Another way we're also doing it, weirdly, is we use those same lines of credit and we invest in the stock market. But we then split it in a way that we get our monthly dividends, our quarterly dividends, and then there's the capital growth stocks that we get. And with the monthly dividends that we have, we focus on the high interest ones, which are high risk, and then we get into the low risk, and you preserve more capital that way. So you find that, let's say I owe the bank 20,000. That's fair, right? So we can actually write it, okay, fine, I have a liability of 20,000. But if the bank was to come back to me and say, hey, I want my money right now, guess what I'll do? I can take that money easily from my stocks and put it back into the bank. And the reason why I did that is because I can give you an example. I have this one stock that of mine that pays monthly dividends. I bought it for $20 per stock, but I'm getting paid $2 a month in dividends per stock. So you find I have 1,000 stocks with the bank's money, and I'm now making $2,000 a month on average from that perspective. Wow. And whenever the bank feels like, hey, I want my money back, I give them back their money. So you find that we, as the people in the diaspora who have access to things like that, I feel if you think right and you do the math right, you need to be able to take advantage of those forms of, I would say, capital investment or ways of growing money. Because you find that if your bank can give you 20,000 just like that easily, I'm not saying people should not use the credit cards. Credit cards are crazy, but a proper line of credit where the interest rates are low. Take advantage of that. Let's put money in the stocks. Let's do this, let's do that, and find ways to grow that money as quickly as possible so that you can put back the money into the line of credit, right? So you find after 10 months, I already have 20,000. I take 20,000, I put it back, and then I continue reinvesting from then on, and you continue growing your capital. That's how we've been doing it, and we've been, growing our portfolio and slowly using the banks.
You know what?
And I think out there you have the opportunity.
You know what? Me listening to you like this, I know it's possible, and of course I believe what you're saying. My question to you is, I'm a layman when it comes to stocks, right? To me, if you say stocks, in my head, it registers gambling. Okay. Explain to me how it works with these stocks. I mean, and what stocks are these that gives you that amount of dividends?
For me, I've been looking at ETFs, right? So you kind of, I follow the markets and what's happening in the market, right? So right now we know that crypto is the next big thing, right? Cryptocurrency is coming in. The US is moving differently in terms of crypto. Different countries are actually moving in differently in terms of crypto. So instead of me going to buy Bitcoin, there are companies in the UK, like this company called the Yield something. What's it called? I'm forgetting the name. But if you search for an ETF that's called YMAX, right, or MSTR, so what they're doing is that they are the ones trading on their site. So they do options based on companies, whether a company is going to move down or up at a specific amount of time and stuff like that. So now they're hedging using your money to make money, and then they give you a portion of that. Right. So I don't want to go into options because options to me are very risky. But I'd rather let somebody else who understands how to do options do it, and then they give me a portion. Right. So what they then do is they create ETFs that then handle that money in a different way. And you can kind of see what they're doing, how much they. So like the one that the one I was telling you about is called MSTR.
So what's all this? I mean, what's ETF and what's MSTR? What are these acronyms? Have we lost him? Oh no. Hold on.
Different companies and buying stocks in different places.
Sorry. Can you repeat that? I mean, I lost a connection. I lost the connection here. I was asking the ETF.
I was saying, so like I just look at, so it's like people, companies that are buying up different companies, right? Like the S&P 500, right? It's the easiest ETF that many people know. So they have the 500 best companies, and then they're buying stocks in there, and then it's just one big stock that covers 500 different companies that they're buying.
Oh.
So somebody buys 500 exactly, right? And you can buy them at a cheaper price. So it's you trying to spread your risk, but having it in one big company that's more stable than you buying Tesla, where Elon Musk says something stupid and then the stock crashes, and then you panic and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right. So that's just how I look at it, and take advantage of what's happening in the market. But like I said, I'm from a finance background. I'm an accountant myself, so
yeah,
I try to just go with what I understand and just do it that way.
I was just about to say, you coming from a finance background, I think it makes it easier for you to really do what you've done. And by the way, what you've done is fantastic. Okay, it is amazing because you are putting money into properties back home. The properties in Zimbabwe, for some reason, they are gaining value in crazy ways. It's unbelievable. You know,
it doesn't make sense.
Yes, it's almost like it's defying logic. What's happening in Zim? A property? No. Listen. I mean, I bought a house in Aspindale, right? At the time, it was 40,000. Yeah. It hasn't been even 5 years. The house now is worth about 100,000, roughly.
And that's the craziest part.
So imagine having a few of these houses in Zimbabwe. I mean, wow. So anyway, tell me something. These houses that you're buying, are they in Harare? Where are they?
So I personally don't believe in buying in Harare. That's me. Again, like I said, and I'm not buying already built houses, because what I realized is these developers are building houses using cheap material and stuff like that, and then they sell them at very high prices. So what I'm now doing is I work with one realtor who puts me on to different stands that are being sold. For example, in Marondera, many people are looking down on Marondera, but I actually believe Marondera is going to be a great place. And if you look at it, there's a new university that's coming up in Marondera very soon.
Okay.
There's so much potential in terms of properties that you can build for students, and you can rent those places out when the time comes, right? We're looking at things like hospitals, right? Many people who have, God forbid things like that happen, but accidents that happen between, let's say, Mutare and Harare, and people need serious health attention. Many of them, we find out they're being moved to Harare. Why are they being moved to Harare when in between them we should have different hospitals that should be catering for anybody who has any issues in between, right? Mm-hmm. And you find that land out there is actually way cheaper than, towards Harare. And I don't understand why people are so obsessed with Harare when, if you want to visit Harare, stay in Marondera, stay in Chinoi, stay in, just stay right around Harare, and then you can visit Harare if you want to. It's not like it's a big deal. No, I don't get it.
No, what you're saying makes sense, but you see, there's a lot of things that we don't understand. Like with me, I grew up in Belvedere, right? That's all I know. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I spent my adult life in the UK. So all I know, if I want to buy a house, if I want to build a house, is Harare has to be the way. If I can really, really afford it, it has to be Harare North. So I'm talking about Borodale, all those top suburbs there. But to think about Marondera, I'll be in my head. I haven't really been to Marondera, to be honest. I just passed through Chinoi, maybe Chinoi. I've been to Chinoi Caves, and that's about it. And Kwekwe, I can't even say anything about Kwekwe. So to really invest in those areas, I think there's a bit of education that needs to be done, or a bit of research, rather. But what you're saying makes a lot of sense because Harare is overpriced, and it's just I think it's a demand which is too fake. But if you really want like the better places, it has to be around Harare. I think I agree with you on that one. Outside Harare.
Yeah, I admit. And it's crazy because what I was talking to the wife this morning, I'm like, people don't realize something, that these clusters that are coming up is, yes, I mean, they're good in the short run, but for people in Zimbabwe are loving it, right? You know, it's new developments, new houses, you know, all the nice stuff. But what they don't realize that people are moving outwards. My dad, the other time, he bought a property just towards, what do you call that? Shawasha, when you're going to Mozambique, just after the toll gate there. There were 4 hectare plots that were being sold for about 100,000. And he was telling me that it took a month for 100 of those plots to be sold. And those guys wanted cash. And then you ask yourself, who is buying all these and they're paying cash? And my dad was like, it's the people that were staying in Borojo, in the outskirts. Well, because Borojo used to slightly be on the outskirts, right? And what those people are now doing is they're buying land on the outskirts for those 100,000, 4 hectares, right? They're splitting, they're moving from Borojo to the outskirts. And then what they're doing is they're now renovating houses in the Borojo area, and then they start creating those cluster homes and stuff like that. They rent them out, and then they sell them at 200,000 for one unit. That's what, 200 square meters. And they buy their land out there, 4 hectare plots, and they're sitting, you know, high up there and then enjoying a good life. Because people don't understand that out there it's peaceful, there's no noise, you know, you're doing your thing, but then your money is being made in Harare, where people are saying that's where everything is, which is true. That's where the money is. But if we start changing our mindsets and moving outwards where we can buy cheaper land and invest in there where everybody else thinks that's where it is, I think we can also then grow in that manner. I'm a capitalist myself, so I don't mind doing it, but I also think it's slowly, because back then you could have your garden in the household, right? Like, you know, in your yard. But now with these clusters, you can't do that. And what's gonna happen? It's gonna create demand for farmers to, you know, we need food and stuff like that. People are gonna have to buy more food. And as we speak, we don't have demand. I mean, we have demand, but then we don't have the supply, because apparently I heard, I don't know how true it is, that the big farmers are exporting and Zimbabwe is surviving on the small scale farmers. And unfortunately, the small scale farmers cannot supply enough based on demand. And that's also because we are urbanizing too much, too fast, that Zimbabwe is not ready for it. But if we take advantage of that, because you've been out here and you've seen a lot, I think we can also make good money that way.
Yes. So, you know, you're a finance guy. Can you explain to me what is happening in Zimbabwe? Because sometimes I get confused. People say the economy is bad, right? And then on the other hand, we're talking about people buying these stands, these houses, cash, and everything you need in Zim right now is cash. What is happening there? What's your take on that?
Oh, man, I honestly cannot explain that. I've tried my best to understand it. But one thing that I've realized is the whole reason, one thing that I definitely know is Zim is a cash city, right? I mean, cash country, and that's fair. And people are keeping money wherever they're keeping their money, but it's cash and not in the banks. So unfortunately, many people then now think that Zimbabwe is not a good economy because of that. Whereas where I'm at in Canada, you find that it's a credit economy. They thrive on credit. And everything seems so good on paper that you believe it's actually good, but it's not. So you find, I actually think, and I always say that Zimbabweans are the richest, or let me say Africans are the richest compared to this side of the world, because we use cash for everything. If you want a car, you buy cash. If you want a house, you do cash. If you want to build a house, 2-3 years, it's cash. Whereas this side, we have mortgages that we have to pay over 20 years, right? Renewed every 5 years. And that's different interest. So you pay a lot of it in interest, but back at home, it's, you know, you're just moving as it is. So you find that people are looking down on Zimbabwe, but I also think the same Zimbabweans within Zimbabwe want to keep the cash to themselves. That's why they're demotivating many people who want to come back And
yeah, you know what you've just said there. I got into trouble with some family members before when I always say that people in Zimbabwe are richer than most people in the West. And they were saying, no, how can that be true? And I was saying, look, if you want to really calculate how I'm saying the people back home are richer, let's look at the net worth, all right, as a measure of how someone is doing. So if you add all your assets versus all your liabilities while you're in the UK, or for someone in the UK and someone in Zim, you'll find that in the UK, majority of people are more in debt. I mean, the house is with the bank, the car is with the finance company or the bank, you know, you got credit cards. So everything looks nice on paper, like you said. But the reality is you can't really say those things are yours until they're paid for.
No, you can't.
Whereas in Zim, someone will be going into their house and it's theirs. If they're driving a car, it's theirs. That to me, I just find very, very fascinating. But people don't want to accept that.
Oh, no, they don't. And that's unfortunate. And, you know, you tell them, oh, how much are you making per month? You're like 6,000 a month. They're like, oh, you're making too much money. But then I'm like, you don't understand that for a one-bedroom apartment, you're paying $2,000, right? And that 6,000 is before tax. After tax, the government will probably give you 4,800. And then you go buy groceries. You're spending $1,000 for groceries. Basic, by the way, because I eat once a day. And you find that, listen, I remember I sent my mom a picture of 800 grams of beef. It was $72 for 800 grams of beef. Then I was like, that's what people need to understand, that the number is big, but so are the costs. Many Zimbabweans want to compare money to money, but instead of comparing economy to economy, right? Because we can say, I make 6,000, but what are my costs like? Versus in Zim, you can stay in a place and you pay, I think worst comes to worst, you pay, I don't know, $200 a month for rent, right? And you're probably making 500, right? If we put that into comparison, you find that both countries are probably the same. It's just that one side, you're paying a lot more in terms of the number. The number just looks big compared to the other side. And people need to also understand that before you move, for those that want to run away from Zim, I can't stop you, but I think you also need to understand the economics of things in the country that you want to go to. Because you might think it's greener on the other side, but you realize that it's not.
Yes.
Right? Whereas in Zim, I love Zim because I can run away from taxes. I can just start a little tax shop there. No one will ask me questions, right? We have a little plot. Nobody has visited my plot to say, hey, what are you doing there? You know, right? But here, this white, you know, they'll snitch on you, right? Governments are all out there, you know, raise your chickens weirdly, and then you will find out the police are at your doorstep. So do you have a permit for this? But in Zimbabwe, we don't have all that. Yes. And I think we need to appreciate that as Zimbabwe as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. You know, the cost of living, people don't understand it, because when you tell someone you're earning, let's say 3,000, they look at that figure, but not realizing that that's all you do is go to work. You can't do any side hustles. You know, one time my son was saying to me, his professor, the professor that he works with back in Zimbabwe, he earns, I think, less than $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
But the professor's son goes to Peterhouse. And at Peterhouse, you know, it's probably 4,000 or 5,000 per term. And she was saying, but how is he able to do that? Now, you see, in Zim, you can be a professor earning your whatever, let's say $1,000 a month, but also have a side hustle where that side hustle is making you even more money. But he just keeps the professor job because he loves, you know, his job, but he also has a side hustle. That's how people are managing to do all this. Yes.
And it's those opportunities that people don't understand. But hey, it's only when you come this side you realize, you know, it's a trap. No. It will always be a rat race.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you on that 100%. So in terms of your investments, I mean, from what you were describing, I mean, you are really making use of your knowledge and also taking that risk to do all this. I mean, I just wish I could go into the stocks, but for me, it's too scary. You know, I like taking risks, but
Not like that.
No, it's very, very scary. But anyway, look, thank you very much for calling and sharing your ideas and your thoughts and what you're doing. It's very inspiring, and definitely I appreciate your help. And your support on the channel. It really, goes a long way. So thank you very much for calling.
Thank you. Have a great one.
And you. Cheers. Okay, right. Let's see. We have Maria. I was supposed to call Maria here. Let's see if Maria is still available. Hopefully. Right. So anyone else who wants to call, there's the number on the screen.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Organic Ruwa.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
I
Loud
am
and
good.
clear.
How are you? I'm so excited to hear from you. I didn't think you were gonna call.
No.
I'm calling actually from Buffalo, New York.
Okay, great. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. This is such a great program. I'm very excited. I'm actually part of the Ruwa Organic.
That is fantastic. I know I really appreciate you being part of it, and also even for calling in. You make the you make the show great. So tell us what do you have to share with us?
Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to share is this coming. So I left Zimbabwe like in '96. And in 2000, I actually bought like a plot in Borodale Brook. That's when it was starting to come up those days.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually paid. We didn't do the lawyer thing. We were just so trusting,
Okay.
So we actually paid for that plot, fully paid. And the whole real estate company disappeared on us.
Wow.
So imagine that. And we tried to follow up with so many charges for the lawyers and everything, and we just gave up on it.
Oh my, I'm sorry to hear that.
Scamming is a real deal. And then another thing recently, I tried to drill a borehole for my grandma in the village,
Mm-hmm.
and they dug up to 200 meters, and there was just rock, nothing else.
Oh my
So
goodness.
the borehole scams are real.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't have much to say. Actually, I didn't think you were going to call, so I am not really prepared, but that's just my little contribution. But despite all that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very encouraged actually by Ruwa Organic, because I had given up on Zimbabwe.
Really?
Because I had a project that I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and to do anything, you had to pay something extra. And that really frustrated me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how would I even survive? If I need to go to the police, I have to pay something. If I have to go to this thing, I have to pay something. How
Mm-hmm.
does that even work?
It's difficult
So
for
I was like, forget this.
Yeah, it's difficult for anyone who is trying to do something, especially if you're new, you're on the ground, and you're just by yourself. That was the case with me. It's not easy, and it's very disheartening. Especially, you mentioned the trusting thing. If you live in the West for a couple of years, you get used to how things are done in the West. So you go back home, someone will look at you in the eye and say, yes, this plot is going for X amount of money. There's a few people asking to purchase it. So if you buy now, I can give you a discount, knowing that they're double selling you that plot, or even knowing that it's not even theirs. And it's so shocking, because this type of behavior, like with me, and I find it very disturbing because it's so believable.
Yeah, that's so. So with this project, I'm sure that since we all have learned, there's like, we have things that we're looking at, like the lawyer and all this stuff you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I got excited one more time, to be doing something for retirement in Zimbabwe.
Yes. Have you also joined the group?
Yes, I joined the Ruwa group and also the WhatsApp group.
Fantastic. Yes, the WhatsApp group. Yes, I'll be doing some updates next week. There's a lot of groundwork that has been covered there. The companies are registered. The application that we're developing is almost complete. So we just want to make sure. We just want to make sure that everything is legally in place for everyone. So at least if we are going for these projects, you know that, you're not panicking, thinking maybe my money is gone. So I really want to make sure that that foundation is there before we can rush and collect money. It's important that we get it right. Yes.
That's key because, in order to part with your money, given the history that we went through of these scams I'm talking about, is very difficult. So putting things in place like you're doing makes people, a little bit easier to put their money down. So thank you so much. That's all I had to say.
No, thank you very much for calling. I really, really appreciate you calling in and picking up my call rather. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Okay, it's after midnight. It's 26 past 12 here in the UK. Anyone else wants to share their story? Please, that's the number on the screen. Call us. Let's have a chat. Wow. Okay, this is very, very interesting. And you know what? Every time I do this show, it's always exciting because people are calling in and, I'm loving it. Okay, let's take a look at the comments here. Tadios here is saying, hi, is it easy for it? Okay, I have to take this call. Here you go. Hello? 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 You're live.
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Ruwa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. My name is Terrence.
Okay, Terrence, welcome to the show. You're live. So tell us.
I'm live.
Yes, what are you going to share with us?
Okay, so I had a comment on export.
Okay.
Yes. And I just wanted to share a cautionary tale.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have this company, it's called Kuminda.
Kuminda, okay.
Yeah, and what they do is they contract smallholder farmers to do certain horticulture crops for export. So what happens is they give you the contract. They might provide you with some seed and some fertilizer. And then at the end, they have to buy from you. And then, so they will contract a lot of farmers for the volumes, you understand? So at the end of the day, you produce the produce, you give it to them, and then they do the sorting and so on. And then they take the produce for export, right? You agree the price. Fair and fine, right?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Now, where things could go wrong, for example, we had this crop called fine beans.
Okay.
It was their first time of doing that crop. It was done in the summertime, so water became a challenge for many farmers. So many farmers could not produce up to the required grade.
Okay.
Okay, so we have invested, we have put our money down, we get to the required grade, but because there's not enough volume, we then lose out.
Because you have to be paid after they've been paid at the export company.
Yeah, at the export company, or when they essentially manage to get their produce across the ocean.
Well, that's not a good deal.
Yeah, so I'm just saying for export, if you're small, they just need to be sort of aware that if other farmers are not managing to make the volumes of that certain crop, then it's not going to work out for you.
Oh, so you can be affected as well. So you've met your volumes, but because other farmers haven't met it, and the export market needs X amount of tons, for example.
Yes.
So it's like a chain reaction, and you get caught up in it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even think of that. Wow.
So basically, this fine beans, I think we'd agreed a price for $2 a kg.
Mm-hmm.
And then you basically have to sell it on the local market.
Mm-hmm.
Local market price goes down to as much as 30 cents a kg.
Okay. 30 cents per
So
kg.
you can 30 cents per kg.
That sounds so little.
Yes, it sounds so little, and it's like a funny crop. Temperature will affect it. It needs refrigeration and so on. So there's a lot of factors. But even on the local market, it's not something that's in big demand on our local market, but in big demand in Europe.
Okay.
So I get here to UK. That was December time. I'm looking at the fine beans, the quality which is on the shelf from Egypt and Morocco. And it's not even as good as the quality that we managed to achieve. But because we didn't have enough volumes, because we're relying on a contractor with other farmers, so it was kind of disheartening because we would put our investment there, hoping to get a good return. But maybe it was our crop. Because right now, if you Kuminda, that's the name of the company, if you look them up, right now they're doing peas.
You said they're doing what? They're doing peas?
Yeah.
Okay.
And peas seems to be paid. So this is they have been the peas which was grown in the rainy season.
So are you a farmer yourself?
Yeah, I'm a farmer.
And are you in Zimbabwe right now?
Right. Oh.
No, I mean are you farming in Zimbabwe or?
I'm farming in Zimbabwe, but right now I'm in the UK and I'll be going back in August.
Okay. So how is this? How is the farming generally working out for you?
Well, it's a lot of hard work. The margins are small, but once you start doing it, you can't stop it. It just comes. It's enjoyable, I guess.
So would you say you prefer it in Zimbabwe or you prefer it in the UK?
I would definitely prefer it in Zimbabwe.
Really?
Because I went there, in 2022, circumstances forced me to go there. I've learned my mistakes, so going back, I have more energy.
You know what? It's interesting you say that because even me, I've just come here. I'm in the UK at the moment, going back to Zim around August. I'm just waiting for my son to graduate, and the energy that I have now is more because even though I've made a lot of mistakes and people say, you know what, you failed your farm. You know, you haven't even done much at your farm, but trust me, the energy that I have now and the money that I put aside for the second phase, I mean, I can't wait to get started, to be honest. So you saying that also gets me excited as well,
Okay, so I'll just ask you a question.
Yes.
Did you expect these problems to happen, which you encountered?
No.
Okay. Because for me, myself, it was a situation where my father passed away, so there was nobody else to run the farm.
Okay.
So circumstances forced. So going back, I exactly knew that I do not know what I'm getting myself into. I'm going to get into some troubles, but that's going to be expected.
You see,
and unfortunately for me, the biggest one was something out of my control. We had drought in 2022.
Yes.
Drought in 2023. Those ones were big for because after drought, even if you have irrigation infrastructure, your dams, they don't have, your rivers, they don't have enough water. So that becomes an issue. Okay, we have the pumps, we have this, but we don't have the water. We literally don't have the water. The levels are going down, the bowls are going down, everything.
That's a bit challenging. But with me now, I was a bit different, because when I decided to go back to Zim to stay as a returning resident, I did a lot of interviews, and I thought I was doing the right thing. I did a lot of interviews. I remember it's even on my channel. If you go to the early videos on my channel, I spoke to a guy who did the soil testing. I even spoke to the guy who was advising me on the chickens. I went on the drawing boards. We calculated all the profits and everything. So when I went, I was so confident that nothing wrong would happen, because I thought I had everything covered. But when I got on the ground, oh my goodness, it humbled me.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Because different people will look at it different, but some of my advisors just said, what you put on paper, don't rely on it much. Just see what happens on the ground. Because usually when we're doing our calculations or projections, everything looks fine.
Yes.
But the story on the ground is that it turns out to be quite different.
It's different. And the funny thing is, I had everything in place. I had the incubator. I built temporary structures. Everything was in place. And I said, okay, what could go wrong, with this? I was already dreaming. Okay, my first run with my road runners, I'm going to make 16K. And then from that 16K, I started making plans. But when I got on the ground, I could not believe the amount of things that were going wrong. It was unbelievable. So now I don't talk too much. I was humbled.
So in terms of feed, are you making your own feed? Is that in your plan, or how are you going to?
Yes, absolutely. Because 70% of your profits when you do chickens is the feed. You have to grow your own feed. There is no two ways about that one. Yes. But I'm not at that stage yet. I'm working towards that.
You're working towards it.
Yes.
And then, I know you said you had troubles with water.
Yes.
Do you have a nearby water source, or
no
water source that's far away?
It's far away.
Like a river or some dam, I don't know.
There's a dam far away. Yeah, it's quite far. It has to go through other people's plots. That wouldn't work. But the plan that I have now, I went back. I know people are going to go crazy on this one. I went back to my original idea. So I'm digging some wells. So far, I have a well, which is only about 5 meters deep, but there's a lot of water. Every time we empty it, within 3 hours, it fills up again. So yes, it's a lot of water. After 3 hours, it fills up again. So I'm going to have a few of those, maybe 3 or 4. And then see if I can fill, let's say, 10,000 liters of water every day. If I can achieve that, I'm definitely going to plant some vegetables there or something to just to generate some money in the meantime while I build my permanent structures.
Okay, so you're in Ruwa, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Pat George, you are familiar with the market?
Yes. Pat George along Mutara Road, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you aware of how prices fluctuate in that market?
No, I know someone who was selling cabbages told me he was making a lot of money there, but I didn't really go deep into it because at the time I was doing road runners. But it seemed like he was doing well.
Yeah, so it's very true. It's almost a gamble, everything that you do in farming in Zimbabwe.
So tell me more about Pat George. What happens there?
Pat George. Okay, so you have to arrive if you're a farmer around maybe 6 a.m. in the morning with your produce.
Uh-huh.
And then you just arrived, and then the holders will be there. Then you start negotiating with them for a price, and then you agree on the price, and then they take your produce. That's it.
So that seems like a good deal. I mean, why is it?
Depending on what the market is detecting.
Yeah, you see, this is the problem, you know. I don't like this uncertainty when I do business, you know. I'm expecting if I'm selling 2 cabbages for $1, that's what I'm getting, you know. So maybe this is
Okay, so yeah, so that's the thing. It depends on the market, how the market is moving. Because sometimes there's oversupply, you know, market, demand and supply, it works that way. Because sometimes even I, as the buyer of the things in the market, sometimes what I get for $1 will be too much for me to consume in a day.
So tell me, are you okay? What do you do there? I mean, are you okay? You said you're into farming, right? Do you also sell there in Ruwa?
No, so I farm in Bromley.
Okay.
So Bromley is a little bit fed after Ruwa.
Okay.
So if I have to get my produce to market, I have 2 options. Either I can get to Marondia, I can get to Ruwa. But permanent, well, I have a house in Harare, so coming to Ruwa, offloading at George, and then continuing to my house makes sense. So when I was doing horticulture, I would sell my produce at Fat George.
Right.
Yeah. So that's when I begin to experience what happens at the market. Because there you have to know who's inside. Because also, remember, the farmer is always the least person in the value chain. Everyone is trying to gain from the farm.
Okay, now you're making me scared. Okay, do you make? Would you say do you actually make a profit there when you sell your produce?
Profit. I didn't make profit. I was just breaking even.
Huh?
Yeah. Profit came, but it wasn't really George. But profit came with Green Millions, which I did in December.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is, it's not 100%. You know what you are going to produce that is going to make you money. It's not 100%. So you could actually spend so much time doing potatoes, and then it turns out that you take them to the market and they're not really worth what you're expecting.
Yes. Especially potatoes. Especially potatoes. Potatoes can go up to $15 a pocket. They can come down to $7 a pocket. Fluctuation, depending on the market and the time of the year.
Okay. And yet there is also other people who say, I've just made 20,000, with these potatoes or onions or bambaira, So which is which?
So that's where the trick is. When the market is flooded, do you have enough volume? So that even if you're making a small profit, but you have so much volume, so that 30 cents becomes 30,000, maybe something like that.
So it's a volumes game.
It's a volumes game. Especially, I'm using George as the place where we would go to sell our produce. We wouldn't even dream of going to Mbari. We just have a little pickup truck. Our volumes are not large. You go to Mbari, somebody comes with a big truck. And you're trying to compete with them. You're already beaten before you even start.
Cool. What if you then go straight to the consumer?
Straight to the consumer, if you have enough people for your volumes, and that's the best way if you can do that. But it takes more time. But that's the best way. Because we do cattle as well. So if I kill a beast today, if I was to put it to the abattoir and sell it to the abattoir, I do not get as much as if I sell to my own customers. Yeah.
So are you saying that if I were to get a cow, slaughter it with the abattoirs, they cut all the meat, and then I try and sell it to my people?
Yeah, after cutting, you have to package it yourself.
I mean, cutting, packaging, and then I sell to my people.
And then you sell to your people, yes. You get more money that way.
Okay. So, guys.
But it's a little bit more labor, though.
Why?
Okay.
They're selling.
So your cattle has to go. You have to, unless if you have your own transport from your farm to the abattoir.
Mm-hmm.
Then from the abattoir to wherever you're selling, whether you're doing door-to-door delivery or easier to just say I'm in town at this point. Then you have your cutting fees and all of that. So maybe you spend around 200 in just the processing.
Hey.
But then you can decide your price and how your customers knowing what kind of product you're producing. Because, for example, beef in Zimbabwe, I don't know if you've gone to any butcher and you've bought beef. Sometimes the beef is not that good, and you pay top dollar for it.
So sometimes maybe producing your own beef could be actually a good idea.
It's a good idea, but again, it will come down to numbers. Because if I was to open my own butcher, I cannot sustain the numbers with the quality beef that I can produce at my own farm.
It looks like this thing is all about numbers, because if you produce if you produce something nice and there's a demand for it, you have to consistently supply. And how do you consistently supply? That's the problem.
Yes, that is the bigger problem. That is.
So we come back to what we were discussing a few weeks ago with this diaspora initiative, where we have to come together as diasporans and start these projects collectively in order for us to meet the demands. Because single-handedly, it's impossible.
Yes, we need some sort of networking, but we have so many other problems down there. For example, how do we raise our cattle?
Well,
if I'm looking at the beef.
No,
for example, for us, you're not allowed to take milk from the cows for your own use. No.
Why?
The milk belongs to the cows.
Why can't? Why?
Why? Because the cows get all the nutrition that they need from the milk. So if we start getting the milk from the cows, we are taking away from them. I understand the good argument that it's excess or what. I haven't done the research scientific alone to that. Or really, should we not take a little bit? Maybe we take 1 liter out. But as a rule of thumb, we don't.
Okay, so these are just your normal cows. They're not your dairy cows, right?
They're not dairy cows, yes.
Oh, okay.
So no hormones put in to induce more production of milk, no? Just the normal cows for beef, for meat production. We don't take milk from them. The milk belongs to the cows.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. So if you take from them, then you it's like you're just messing up everything now for the cow itself.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Hey, there's a lot we need to learn.
Now, can I be sure that every farmer is doing that in my value chain? I don't know.
Yeah. There has to be standards.
But demand is high for beef. Cost production is high. I know that farmers are we're trying to see how we can bring those costs down and the price of beef down. Yeah, but we no longer have cultural commission, but yeah, we're trying.
So since you are doing beef, perhaps maybe you can answer this question. I used to be under the opinion that Zimbabwe has the best beef because the cows, they are grazing, they're eating grass and so on and so forth. Whereas here in the UK, if you just buy your normal beef, it doesn't taste nice. I mean, it's like almost like you're eating cardboard. There's no taste. But if you buy the Angus beef, that's when I get the real taste. But then again, the price per kilo is ridiculous. So can you explain to me what happens there with the beef?
There's so many things there. I'm still mind boggled by it myself because first we start with the 21 days mature.
Yes.
Okay, so here, after they slaughter, 21 days they hang the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Back home, 3 to 4 days, it's out of the abbot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's that aging process where they talk something about some enzymes that will be still active within the 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these guys then they hang it, then they say those enzymes don't be active after the 21 days, which is the minimum.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you know what you're saying actually makes sense. The meat in Zimbabwe, you almost have to do karate with it just to eat it. It's so tough, it's unbelievable. And then when you buy the super beef, I don't know, there's something wrong with that super beef. I don't like it.
So super beef, I mean, these are things that I'm researching, because super beef, you go in, you buy in your super beef. I don't know, $7 a kg, like, right? Today I want to enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
Then end up being wrestling with it. But then something now, I'm gonna show. Beef from my farm can come graded economy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're expecting it to be tough, low quality beef,
Mm-hmm.
but it's tender, taste. So what has gone wrong here? Is it at the grading at the abattoir? Is it the way we raise them?
Mm-hmm.
Is it so there's so much that goes into the special outfit will be grass raised and grass finished. So it's all it's in is grass.
Yes.
Usually what happens now, you do the feedlot system, almost like similar to the American system, where you put them for 3 months, the steers, feed them on grain,
Mm-hmm.
fatten them up.
Yeah, to fatten them. Yeah.
So when they go and grade super, it has to have the white fat. That's what they grade as super. So if it has a mixture of white and yellow fat, it's going to go to economy. But my research is saying the mixture of white and yellow fat, that's the healthy option.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm still doing more research onto that too. And again, why is it that why is there? Because these guys are just eating grass here, the cattle here, loads of grass. Okay, so why is the taste so different? Is it what happens after slaughter?
Yeah, I think what happens is the aging. The aging is where the trick is, I think, and also, I'll say mainly it's the aging. Because the wrestling part of it is, I mean, it's making me actually hate the beef, because there's just too much wrestling with the meat, and sometimes you have to cook it for hours. Like it's almost like a whole day of cooking. I mean, who does? I mean, who wants that? But
Nobody wants that.
But here you buy the beef, although it's so expensive. But I think we need to do more research on that one. I mean, I totally agree. We need to do more research.
Yeah.
There is something there with the beef. And I think once we'll nail it, we could be selling, amazing beef in Zimbabwe.
But the issue here is this didn't used to happen sort of pre-2000.
So, yeah, pre-2000.
What has gone wrong?
Yeah, because I think what has gone wrong is we are going into this field now, pre-2000, because I remember I used to work at Agri-Foods, right? The farmers have some secrets they left with. That's what I believe in. Because even these things we're talking about, genetics and all these things, these are the secrets of farming. They're the secrets of farming. Yes. And it's a big deal because you could be crossbreeding your animals. You find that they don't perform well. But you have to have this knowledge. And this knowledge is with, those farmers that were doing it for many, many years. It maybe decades. So was that knowledge impacted on us? No. And I think that's where the issue is. When the farmers left, they left with the knowledge. Because you see, to me, if you say to me a cow, out of my own head, I'll be saying, oh, that cow I used to see at my grandmother's Kumusha there. Grazing, we take the cows to the mountains for grazing. That's an organic cow. That's how I'm thinking. But trust me, if you kill that cow and eat it, it's karate all the way. Wrestling all the way. It's not even enjoyable. The experience is not even fun anymore.
It's not even fun anymore. For something, we need to supplement. The organics are not supplemented, but so minerals and so on. But the good thing is, we still have white farmers with the knowledge from past who are actually helping us with the knowledge. Yes. So the thing which I'm seeing as a bigger issue is access to land. I'm on a farm where I'm having 100 hectares, right? But the previous owner was owning 3,000 hectares alone.
3,000 hectares?
Alone.
How is that possible?
That's what they were doing in the farm.
3,000 hectares?
Yes.
I'm in shock.
Sure.
So that'll be one farmer with 3,000 hectares.
Yes. And I had the privilege of finding somewhere where they ranch. In 1999, they were turning over $500,000 US.
Wow.
I don't know how much that would be in today's money.
That is a lot of land.
Yes.
I think I saw your comment. Are you the one who commented about the access to land in the comments?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you put in that comment, I was just about to say there isn't a problem with land, because I assume that when you talk about access to land, you're talking about 50 hectares, 60 hectares. You see?
Okay. So from one of the white people in beef production is telling me that for a single piece of cattle, for holding, you need 4 hectares. If we're doing the sort of the old style way of grazing, where we're not doing pastures or anything.
Okay.
So 4 hectares per cow.
4 hectares
so
per cow.
I have 70 right now. So I need 280 hectares. I'm sitting on 100. So I'm actually overgrazing, as it were. So now I need to do pastures and more supplementation.
So this one doesn't work, because the moment you have, let's say, 500 cows times 4.
Yeah, I need 2,000 hectares. On the conventional. That means no pastures. I'm not irrigating anything. I'm not doing some specialized. When you come down to it, then we need, if I'm doing pastures, then I can have 10 per hectare.
So basically, based on what you're saying, then we'll never meet the demand for beef.
We can, but
how?
The way the land has been fragmented after we did land reform, we need to do some research somewhere there. Because whilst I'm saying this, I can tell you, deep down in the farms there's lots of land that's just not being used, but because it's not accessible to me, it's not my land, it's X's land. But X is just one cow, you can't even use the rest of the...
Wow. That is a big challenge. I can see where the issue could be there.
Yeah.
Hey. So are any of these conversations happening in the farming groups or in the farming communities?
Yeah. And lots of people are happy to lease their land for grazing if they don't have the capacity. But now, to develop capacity for pastures becomes the problem. Do I really want to put some irrigation infrastructure on someone else's farm?
Why not? You might have to do that, to expand.
I might have to do that, or do I start to debate and say maybe I'm better as a breeder, of which I have no idea of what breeding looks like. Because if you're a breeder, if you're doing breeding stock, then you get more value out of your cattle. So for small land, they're going to breeding, but I don't know what breeding is.
Huh. You've opened up a topic which I had no idea was going on there. It just shows that we have this passion for farming, but there's a lot behind the scenes that we need to learn and understand. Wow. Very interesting.
Okay. All right. I thank you for answering. I think I would give others a chance.
Yes, thank you very much for calling. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, take care, Terence. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Wow. That was very incredible. Okay. Do we have another caller? We have Raxman. Let me try and ring back. Raxman here, see if can still take the call. And Gono says here, without GMOs, it's tough to meet the beef demand because now land is suitable for cattle ranching. Wow. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. You're live on the show.
Ruwa.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
I'm one of your followers. I really follow you. So
thank you so much.
I also have some stories that I lost some money in a few things. Like I've tried a lot of things as well, like you did. Yeah, starting from 2013, I tried trucking. I bought a truck, and I had a lot of hiccups with the trucking, and then I ended up coming back. Actually, I'm in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. So I tried that, failed, came back. 2016. I looked for land.
Right.
I looked for land. Yeah. Got this guy. I was referred to a guy somewhere in the UK there who said he has land. They were giving land in my area. I'm from Bulawayo.
Okay.
So he said that there's land. So I sent my parents to go and look and check on it. There was a guy there that was showing the land. I paid them, and then when I went back, no, they said the land belongs to someone. So it was that land of where you more like government land, but they wanted you to give something for you to to get into it. So there's a guy that was helping me out there. So I did that. It didn't go well there. I lost that one. Okay. So then I ended up getting another land. I was helped by an uncle that was in the army. That is in the army, is one that helped me to get something. Yeah, so I've been into a lot of things, and even until now, I'm still trying to see where the money is in this farming. I can't seem to find where the money is in this farming thing. So I tried pigs. I have some pig ties. I did in my numbers up to 100 and something pigs.
Okay.
And I was slaughtering them and trying to sell them, but still I didn't see any money coming. I with feed I was using commercial feed, so maybe that's where I was going wrong, I think, because I spent a lot of money on commercial feed. So that one also I ended up giving up on it. I went into layers. I did eggs.
Okay.
We started with 700 layers.
Oh, that's a good number.
Yeah, it was a good number. We're doing okay with those ones. So we thought now we're okay, we're good, we know these things, right? And then we scaled up, we went up to 4,000 layers.
Wow.
I think that's where we went wrong. That's where we went wrong. Because when we did that, we'll come to the market with commercial feeds as well. We started eggs, a tray was going for $3, we're selling them for $3. With that, we're making a profit. But then some other guys came from Harare, they brought some eggs down to $2.50.
Oh my goodness.
So now with that one, you come to the market, you see people are no longer coming to you because you're selling $3. Then they already got some eggs early in the morning around 5 a.m. They got them for $2.50. So now you are no longer making profit. You have to now try to match with the price that those guys are bringing. I don't know where they were getting their feeds. Maybe they were making their own feeds. So we tried that, and we ended up selling those layers as off layers because the feeds were too expensive. We were not able to maintain that. So we ended up and we lost a lot of them because they started dying, and we would take one to the vet, they do post-mortem, they would give us a remedy to do, we do that, nothing, they still kept on dying and dying and dying. We ended up getting rid of them. So now
you've been through a lot. Now, sometimes I say to myself, I've been through so much and I'm tired, but just listening to what you're saying now, oh my goodness.
So it's one of those things that you get hooked to it, and we want to go back home. I've been here, I came in 2001, so now it's time that I feel I have to go back home, but you have to go back to something, right?
Yes.
You have to go back to something. So I'm still trying things. Now I heard there's another guy that you're talking to. He was talking about goats. He has numbers of 100 and something. I'm into goats too. I started that one, goats and cattle. But for now I'm still just putting money into it. I haven't seen anything coming back. I'll see maybe later something will start coming. But there's lots of people that have more experience in this community now. That people like us maybe will get a lot of information on how we can make these things profitable.
Absolutely. Have you joined the WhatsApp group? The link is in the video description. Fantastic. Here's a few things I can share with you. That because of course I made a lot of mistakes too. That's why I was laughing. So what I realized is the initial investments when it comes to chickens, it has to be on the feed. We have to find a way, because 70% of the profits go to feed.
It's feed.
That is big. Yes. That is huge.
Yes, that is big. Yes. That's your profit.
Exactly. That's our profit right there.
If you can cut off on production cost, that's where your profits are.
So what I realized is, because even me, I came to the UK 2001. There's no way I'm going to continue with this UK thing now. I'm done with it. I have to make this thing work back home, and once it works, it's something that I'll be celebrating and teaching also others how I did it, because I like sharing, knowledge. But anyway, back to the point I was trying to say. When it comes to chickens, even broilers, there's you have to work backwards, because the mistake I did initially was I went for the broilers first. No, you have to work backwards. You start with the refrigeration. You see now, because when your broilers get to 6 weeks, you have to start slaughtering. There's no messing around there. You have to start slaughtering. And if you don't have...
because after 6 weeks, they start eating on your profit.
Exactly. And already you're buying commercial feed. So you can imagine.
Yeah.
And let's say you have 2,000, or let's say even 1,000. How much feed is going out there?
Yeah.
So you have to work backwards. So you start with, in fact, not even the freezer. You start with the solar system. Okay, you get the solar system because you cannot rely on ZESA. Just on that alone, on the ZESA thing, I remember there was a time where I was relying on the ZESA so much because at the time I didn't have enough money for the solar system, and the electricity, there was a fault in my area and the electricity went for a week. I had to give away chickens. Some of them were gone so bad.
I listened to that one of your videos where you explain about that one. I heard that
exactly. And I had to dig, deep holes in the back garden to bury the chickens because they were really bad. So the thing is, you start with the solar system. That's number one. If you really want to do broilers properly, you start with the solar system. You buy those commercial freezers, right? Once you have those massive commercial freezers, then you can start saying, I'm going into my broilers.
Okay.
And now, to modify that formula, when you go into the broilers, the year before, you need to have some sort of a warehouse where you're buying the maize when it's cheap.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Don't buy it when it's expensive.
You stock up.
You stock up. Exactly. You stock up your tons of maize. And if you have the soya, you stock it all up. And then make your own feed. So that's where I am now. That's the stage I am.
That's a good one.
Yes.
That's a really good one.
So that's the stage where, that's the stage I'm at. Because right now I'm actually working on building the warehouse. So once the warehouse is built, I have to stock. I'll be driving around buying whatever tons of maize, cheap. Put it in the warehouse. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then...
I think that's the way to go. That's the way to go.
And then also you need to have a blast freezer. It costs about 5,000. So once you have a blast freezer now, you blast all your chickens.
Yeah.
Then you freeze them. And once you do that, you can even keep those chickens and say, okay, around December, I want to sell 3,000 chickens.
I want to sell, Then you can sell with the price that you want to sell.
Exactly. No more pressure.
Yeah.
You see?
No more pressure. Yeah.
But you know what, my brother? For us to get there, there's a bit of capital that's needed.
Yeah.
Because the blast freezer alone costs money. The solar system costs money. The building the warehouse costs money. The chicken runs cost money. So you have to have that ecosystem in place before you can actually say, right, now, you can make it happen. Yeah, I'm actually thinking of selling my car right now because I really need to get these things on the ground to make sure they're in place.
They're in place.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, my brother. You keeping us going, because hearing your stories also, I said, oh, this guy has gone through the same things that I've gone through. So you keep us going. I get excited too when I hear some people that are doing the same things that they are still going.
Yes. The most important thing, my brother, is we cannot give up. We don't give up. We have to keep fighting until we get there.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I mean, for calling in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you are doing. We really appreciate you. keep doing it. Keep doing it. You're inspiring a lot of us here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Right. I think I have another caller here. Let's go ahead and call me Shewe. Shewe. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, homeboy. It's Leandro actually, but I don't know why. For some reason, I'm using my other number, so just call me Shewe. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
I hope you can hear me clearly.
Loud and clear. How you doing?
Good. Not too bad. How is it in the UK?
Yeah, UK. So, can't complain. But of course, I'm always indoors. I don't really have a community here, to hang out with. So
I know. Trust me, the struggle is real. Like, that's one of the things that you miss the most when you're away from home, to be fair.
That's true.
That you can't just go outside the gate and say hi to a bunch of people. You just can't do that. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to just put a few cents on the issue at hand. I think what you're doing, like I've said before, it's quite inspiring, and it gives some of us hope in the sense that we're at a point where you really want to go back to Zim. You want to invest back and at least live that dream, like just achieving something for yourself. Putting a name and a mark on the country of your birth. And it's been quite tricky because, like you say, there's been a lot of scams. And I think the first caller, the young man who said he's 31, and I listened to that, and initially I was like, wow, he is so inspired. I wish I had that sort of drive, because I'm usually skeptical, because I've seen so many people struggling to make it back home. Despite having all the resources, despite having the capital, there's so many people who haven't really done well. And it's mostly because there isn't that trust. Trust me, I've been in the UK now close to 8 years. And the culture here is one of trust, like you mentioned. And when you go back to Zim, it's almost like the moment you arrive at the airport, you sort of feel like there's a difference. There's no urgency to things. It's like you're always waiting around for something. Yeah.
That's true.
And like over here, you can trust that if you call someone to provide a service, they're going to provide it straight away. They are going to call you. If they don't make it, they're going to call you. If they're going to refund you or give you a deposit, or sort of a discount, on failing to provide a service, that's going to happen. And then you go to Zim, and it's a different story altogether. But whilst all this is there, we can't deny the fact that Zimbabwe is full of opportunities. And my story starts back in 2019. So I think I was in my second year of uni, and I'd gone back for the summer holidays back to Zim. And I went to Melfort. So I'm from Ruwa as well. That's why I usually call you homeboy.
Okay.
But I went to Melfort with I'm from Ruwa as well.
Okay.
Awesome. I went to, exactly. So I went to Melfort with a friend of mine, and we saw this small plot. And on this small plot, there was a lot of agricultural stuff happening. It wasn't a big, massive farm like your 100 hectares, or it was like these small 10 to 15 hectares. I would just approximation somewhere there. But these large fowl runs that I think occupy 10,000 capacity, kind of 10,000 bed capacity kind of fowl runs, and that's 3 of them. And at the back of it, there's horticulture. Just like the amount of work that was being done on such a small space, it was so inspiring, and that's something that kicked an interest in agriculture for me. Now, I tried to look around just to see how much I could get land for. I mean, I was still a student at this time, and I'm working part-time jobs. You know how it is in the UK. I was working at KFC. I'm doing a bit of support work, all this sort of stuff at the same time, trying to balance with your education. So you barely have time to play around. And then the prices I'm hearing at the time, I mean, I couldn't afford. But I just kept hoping that, you know, we would get to a point where something will come up. And something really did come up. I think maybe the past 2-3 years, there was a time when there was this uplift in what they call sabuku deals.
Yes.
Where you get pieces of land in some remote areas, some close and around Harare and some a bit further. And you would get this for like maybe $3,000 for massive piece of land, 20 hectares, 10 hectares.
Yes.
So obviously, someone like me who had been waiting, I was like, this is my opportunity. This is my time to shine. So 2022, soon after my graduation, I found this piece of land, 15 hectares, outside of Harare, on your way to Banket, between Banket and Harare, I would say.
Okay.
So I'm 70 kilometers away from Harare, or 50 kilometers from Chinoi. That's somewhere around that area. And it was going for 6,000 for a 15-hectare plot. I mean, it was a no-brainer to me. So I talked to my parents who were in Zim, who were in Ruwa, to go and check out this place. They went to the place, took pictures, and all that sort of stuff. And I was really impressed with what I was seeing. I could see that it was virgin land. There was going to be a lot of work that would be put into it. But I mean, that would be something that I can work on, and it will be mine, you see.
Yes.
But little did we know that, you know what, like, there is always that, like, when you're excited about something, sometimes you forgo the legalities and what's on paper and what's not on paper.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, we went through with the transaction. Everything was sorted. We went to the headman, Sabuku, and we got the name in the book and everything. You see what I mean? But because this happened towards the end of the year, 2022, I couldn't afford to work on the land as soon as I was done paying for it. So I had to wait another year. And because of that, the same person who sold us this land sold it to someone else.
Oh my goodness.
So we come back after a few months to check on this, and there's someone already trying to till the land. That sort of thing. So lucky enough, we were there just before they did anything to the land, and we managed to call the headman and all those who were there, the witnesses, and some of the people in that same community. Was, I think, one of the best things that we did. We got into sort of some relationships with people who were around the area. So they managed to back us up to say, for sure, these are the people who belong on that land. So that's how we managed to avoid that. But it's been a struggle now trying to correct all those mistakes. Like, it's like I'm now forking more money to make sure that, like, the papers are there, that we convert this land into proper title deeds and things like that. And it's something that I would encourage anyone who is looking into buying land. That, like, if you're buying land, especially in the diaspora community, videos on YouTube will inspire you a lot. And when you go to this, sometimes you're going for 2-3 weeks and you enjoy yourself, you need to go home for a little bit longer just to really get a taste of what really is going on. Because when you go there for a short time, there is a bit of blinkers because there you're enjoying it. You're like, it's my home country. Like, in your mind, it's more relaxed. You're not really thinking about working, and you're seeing all these opportunities. But within all those opportunities, there's so many loopholes that scammers use, and they will use it to great effect. And because most of us are gullible and we trust too easily, we are always bought into the idea. So that's why I really love your channel, because I think I watch every video, because I always feel like I relate so much to what you go through. Yes. And it's almost like almost every video that you make, it's like, I'm always like, yeah, I know that. I mean, you did one on mortgages a few weeks, and I was like, why are people arguing? You are exactly right. This is my feeling exactly about the mortgage. Why don't you use that money and buy a proper property back home or something that you can retire back to? Why do you want to put yourself down in one location for 20-30 years? Like, but I understand there are people who do that for their own reasons, and it's noble that they have Yeah, but it's that thing that attracts me to your brand of things, and that's why I feel like the way you've gone about this, I almost feel like sometimes you read our minds, because when you first mentioned this idea of bringing people together, I know stuff happened along the way, and you've had to re-transform and re-change things.
Yes.
But it's exactly one of the things that I've always thought about. Like, why are we not coming together? Why are we not doing these things? Land is expensive. If you want to buy a 400-meter square stand right now, whether be it in the high density, it's now expensive, especially areas in and around Harare. It's crazy expensive.
It's super expensive.
There is land just around places like Glen Forest, places like Akchuras, which are not exactly close to town, but you get these massive pieces of land that we could all buy together and then divide them, I guess, like amongst each other, and then try and find a way to make sure that everything is in place and that people can actually get title deeds for the land and things like that. But so it's like some of those things that you can see that your experience, whilst different in many aspects, but the core of it is quite similar, and many people will relate. That's why I feel like most of the callers over on this channel, they love what you do because they can relate. There is no that social media glossing and social media filter over things to show your life as though your life is all the way up there. You talk about your failures, you talk about your successes, you talk about the things that you've gone through, and so many people can relate with that, and that makes you come across. I don't know, but I'm willing to put my money. Because I know that I get a sense that you understand the value of trust and what you're trying to do to make sure that everyone is covered and make sure that everyone's money is protected is noble.
Yes.
Now, before I finish, one last thing. When it comes to beef, you should go to this place called Binda Farm. It's like on your way to Goromonzi from Ruwa.
What's it called? Binda?
Binda Farm, yeah. It's B-I. It's like Binder, the spelling, but it's pronounced Binda, B-I-N-D-E-R.
Okay.
Binder, yeah. It's like Binder, like when you read it, but it's Binda, that's the correct pronunciation. So it's a farm on your way to Goromonzi. So you turn, at the Goromonzi turn off on Tara Road, you turn left. And I think it's like 10 kilometers from the turn off.
Okay.
So what they tend to do, is they, like, people bring their cattle, almost like what they used to do with, I think, cold storage back in the day. And I'm forgetting the other company that does the same sort of thing. I think Koala on your way to does the same thing as well. Yeah, but Binda, it's more like you and I can have our own cow, and then as long as we have the papers, we can send it there. So they slaughter it, but you still are responsible for selling the meat yourself. So you find someone who comes there, someone who owns a butchery, or just someone who wants a lot of meat, basically. So whenever you're choosing, try to choose one that is aged a bit. Don't choose one that was killed yesterday.
Okay.
But I find that, most of this cattle, like, it's like what we call rigor mortis, right? When a human being or an animal dies, sometimes the muscles stiffen for a little bit. So if you buy it, someone will tell you, like, we have fresh beef that's just been killed. So you get that, you think, wow, I'm getting the freshest beef. But sometimes you're getting meat that is still tough because it doesn't got the time to relax for some of the enzymes to work on the meat. So I'm getting a bit scientific, but yeah. So, and also allows for the blood to run out and the meat becomes a bit redder. I think if you remember the previous beef from way back in the day, it used to be tastier and it used to be beefier because it was redder. So because they used to give it a bit more time to hang, and then it would allow the meat to tenderize on itself, and it would get a bit more redder and much more juicier. And also your choice of cuts should be mostly on the back of the cow, musana, because that doesn't do much of the work. Most people go for the leg. Those are muscles that are usually working, especially if you're going for the old Mashona type of cows that work in the raw areas. They are going to be tough. You see. So aim for your T-bone, your rib eye, your filet mignon, that sort of stuff. That will give you the best possible. At least some decent kind of meat. Okay, so that's just a good thing. But hopefully, if you're around in August, I'm going for my little sister's wedding in Zimbabwe in August. We should definitely link up, and I'll show you some places.
Oh, that'll be fantastic. But before you go, just to respond to the comments you made, being someone that I've worked, because I've done those crazy jobs, coming here 2001, working in factories and shifts, I understand the pain. And sometimes when I go back home and you pay, let's say, 1,000 or 2,000 for something, and people don't deliver, they don't understand the pain that goes through. Even right now, okay, my situation is not as it was in 2001. But $2,000 or $2,000 for me is a lot of money.
It's still a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. For me to even recover from even the borehole, it's I'm still recovering. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So
the borehole issue is a real issue.
Yes. I'm still recovering from that. So when I say let's work together as a community to try and achieve something, I'm also bearing that in mind, that I know how hard it is. So for me to even run away with money for, come on, that would be the worst thing that I mean,
it was a joke. It was a
No. I know you were joking. I know you were joking.
Exactly.
No. Don't get me wrong. I know you were joking, but I'm just saying the pain that people go through. It's a lot.
Understand it.
I understand it.
Yeah, you understand it. Yeah, you understand because there's so many people who have felt it. I have so many stories that are wild people who have lost money, not only to scammers, but to even their relatives, brothers, sisters back home, where they send money to build houses and they're getting these photos of houses that don't even belong to them.
No,
and
it's
happens.
sad.
So many people are in pain. So this kind of vehicle would at least cut out all of that and give us some sort of power, some sort of power on whatever we're doing. Like at least I can get to see. I love that application that you were showing at the time. At least I can view things there. I can know what's happening, what projects we are looking into, what kind of monies we are investing into each thing. So even though I might not be directly linked, I might not be on the board, but having that sense that at least I know where my money is going is just something that we really do need. And
absolutely,
like in Zim, your money would drown like nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. You see,
it's more painful because the amount of work people are putting in, the amount of people. I think most people think that when you're in the UK, everything is just as simple, but they don't realize the sacrifices. Like you were saying earlier, there's no social life.
Yes,
You have no support system that's readily available, like in times of need. And this is something that, unless you're here in the UK, you won't experience.
Exactly.
You just assume that, things are going rosy for those who are overseas. And that's not just the UK. That's people in Canada, in Australia, in the USA, South Africa, all over the world. And that there's always that innate feeling that you don't belong. That you always feel like, even if you're in a place where you're as comfortable as you are, you always feel like maybe people are looking at me a different way. It's just that feeling that no matter how long you've been overseas, you just feel it feels different. I'm in Lincolnshire, in a little small town where I work, and it's still mostly white people, right? Yeah. And Sometimes I actually forget that I'm African because I'm surrounded by these people. But when I do feel African, I really do feel African. Wow, I really feel different from all these people. And so sometimes it's unsettling. Yes. It's like if you make a mistake, let's say you're just driving in the road, you're driving along and you make a mistake, you feel like everyone sees you oh my God, this African doesn't know that. It's just like those little things, right? But if I was at home in Zim, if I made a mistake, I would be shouting on the window as well, throwing barbs at each other, and then I would move past it, and that's it. You see, it's those little differences.
The vibe is different.
Exactly. So people don't really understand that the struggle is still real. Yes, there might be better living conditions over here, but you can't really forgo and you can't really ignore the fact that social life is just as important. Feeling like you belong is probably the most important, and just that fact that you want to leave something, like a mark, especially for people in the diaspora, to leave something behind, to say this is what I worked for. Because I feel like it would be difficult to leave something over here in the UK or wherever, or what other people are.
Yes.
Because it's not something that people back home can say, well, this is what he did with his life. So doing something back home will give you that sense of accomplishment, that fulfillment. I don't know if fulfillment will be the best word. Because
fulfillment. Fulfillment is fulfillment is the best word.
But I guess it works towards getting people that sense that this is what I've achieved and this is what I have to show for it. And maybe my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren can see this, and this will be the legacy that I leave behind. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
no, I agree with you 100%. And you know what? Yeah. With this diaspora investment program that I'm working on, because I want it to be so transparent. Anyone should be able to go and check what is happening. That's the type of transparency that I want. If we say the title deeds are out, right? You should be able to send your dad, whoever it is, to go and double check. Don't take my word for it. That's how I want it to be. And then at the end of it, if we all have this little something that we say, you know what, as a group in the diaspora, we achieved this. At our pace, because we can't do something that, not everyone can afford. Imagine if I say, okay, the contributions are 5,000. I mean, that's only going to attract maybe 5% of the diasporans,
5%, yeah.
But what about everybody else? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it needs to be inclusive, and it also needs to be something we are working together towards, and it's also transparent. So this is why it's taking a bit longer. I know people want me to say, okay, what do we want to contribute? But I don't want that, not yet. Until we have the what? The foundation. The
right foundation,
Correct. Otherwise, someone can just create a cooperative structure, those cooperative, and then say, okay, put money in. If the guy just goes, what protects you? Nothing.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So,
no, I mean, I see what you mean. And thank you for not giving up. I know that these things can be challenging, and I could feel your pain. And when you were explaining what was going on, when you thought, this could be it, but I'm just happy that you decided to hold your head up high and say, you know what, it is still a brilliant idea, and it's still worth pushing. I know it's going to take a lot of time for yourself, and it's amazing that you're taking the brunt of this for so many of us who probably we won't be able to have enough of the time to introduce. I'm just saying it before so that that we are thankful for that. I mean, I know that there are people who are likely to be able to work with you. I think on the ground, and some will be able to oversee things. And hopefully, as we grow and settle a little bit, we'll start contributing even more with what we've learned. I believe for me, being in the pharmaceutical industry, I believe there is certain things that we can do back home as well. It's always a lucrative sort of kind of thing that we can also look into. And Zimbabwe is one of those few places in the world where even business people can invest in pharmacies and work with other pharmacists to achieve that. Whereas in certain countries, like in the UK, you almost have to be a pharmacist to own a business or some sort of thing like that. So it's all these things that I'm looking that could be possible in the future. And I'm sure people in the group have all the other ideas as well. But I mean, the first point, I agree 100%. Let's go real estate. If we at least have a home to arrive to, we can then plan everything else. We can then plan for everything else, knowing that we have a home to go back to. And
exactly.
I mean, there are no ideas that are bad ideas, but I guess people have to understand at some point that we have to go stage by stage on everything. And I believe the sky is the limit. I think I said this in our first video call where you called everyone on the channel.
Yes.
And I think there is no limit to what we can achieve. We can go into any sector.
Oh, yes.
But we need also people to understand that we have to do this progressively. We have to... Sometimes I know there are people with amazing, crazy ideas. I do have some myself, but I know that we I can't just push my side of the agenda. I have to also look at what other people are thinking, and that's what we need to at least start implementing things, because that's the hardest thing, is the first step to implementing all this. So once we do that, you find that if it works out well, even if it's going to be difficult the first few times. I've tried a few things, and I know that usually the first few times are going to be difficult. But if we are a group of people who are like-minded, I'm sure that no matter what challenges we face, we'll try to find solutions to, and hopefully in the end we'll get to a point where we can all come together and celebrate these successes and enjoy what we have worked for all these years. So
no, I agree. I mean, I like the way you're looking at it, because if you really think about it, this is something that I haven't done before. So we have to be very careful, because we are talking about people's monies here, So we start the first project, it's nice and small. We see what issues we encounter. If it's safe, it's fine. We move on to the next one, and then we just go bigger and bigger and bigger. But we do have to be careful, but at the same time, very cautious.
Optimistically cautious.
Exactly.
All right.
No, you know what?
Thank you for calling me back here.
Yes, thank you so much. Are you on the new group? I mean, because I created a new group, the link.
No, I mean, we joined as soon as you said we're on the new. I was there. I was just like, here we are. So what can we do? When we joined, I thought maybe you were because you were thinking, well, maybe we're not going to do this anymore. So that was a bit of a bummer. But then when you came back and said, no, I've come back new, so we're like, let's go. That's it.
You know what it was when we did that live call. I mean, to be honest, I started off, I was really down, but the support I got from that call, from that community, was just uplifting. That's when I realized that, hey, you know what? Hang on here. Why am I being scared because of one person? Is that even fair?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't make sense. So we just have to figure out things.
You know what? You know what? It actually makes sense, because there is it's a big project, and you're right to have that sense of fear that what if things go wrong? You know what I mean? It's a good feeling to have that. That gives you caution. That makes sure that you are doing things the right way. Because sometimes if you're just carefree and just go, that's when mistakes are made. That's when people then will come at you. So it's also good that when we went through that, I mean, to be honest with you, I could see it from a mile that there was going to be some sort of thing, because there was sort of this tussle of ideas and people trying to push their ideas in front of, and I knew that at some point we would have to calm down and all settle. And I love the way that you came with the structure where we'll start a little bit small, maybe sample it out, then maybe include a little more, a lot more people as the project grows. I think that's fantastic. So that those who are on the fence can maybe take a step back a little bit, see how it goes, then join in. I mean, like you said, you want as many people as you can on this, so that we can use those numbers to leverage opportunities. And
absolutely,
there's amazing ideas everywhere. But it's proper that you would feel. I mean, it's people's money at the end of the day. But the fact that you still see that people are passionate about this and they still are all behind you to do this, then you should do it.
Absolutely,
definitely do it.
Now, thank you so much for picking up the call, and thank you so much for your support as well.
Augustin.
Yes,
thank you, homeboy.
Let's stay connected.
We'll link up in August.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Let's stay in touch. Definitely.
Yeah, we'll do. All right.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Wow. Okay, that was a fantastic call. What we'll do is I'll take one more call, and then right. Let's have one more call, because I'm getting tired now. It's 1:45. Every time I do these calls, you know what happens? I say to myself, we'll do this for 2 hours and then I go to bed. But every time it extends to almost 4 hours. So as you can see right now, we've done this for about 3.5 hours. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not complaining. Anyway, so let's have one more call. One more caller. And then we're good to go. One more caller. In fact, I think I've got some messages here. Okay. Right, so it looks like we don't have any more calls. All right, so perhaps we can call it a night, call it a day from wherever you are. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I really loved it. Every time we share our stories, it's really inspiring just to get an insight to, what is happening, what is also done, and also your experiences. So it helps the whole community, and I really, really enjoy that. So we can have it again next week, around the same time. And also, don't forget to go to the video description, this video description. It's a new channel. It's going to be on my UK number. Okay, it's going to be on my UK number because the old WhatsApp group is on my Zim number. So I prefer to have it on the UK number just in case something happens. Things can be investigated much easier. And so the new WhatsApp group is on my WhatsApp number. And also the way I've set it up is that I will always be the admin, unlike how it was before. So go ahead and sign up to that group. The link is in the video description, this video description. That's where the link is to the new WhatsApp. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your time. And also for everyone that called in, thank you so much as well. To all the listeners, again, thank you very, very much. See you again in the next one. Take care.